Coming up, stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. But first,
I'm Mike Baker, former CIA officer and your host for the President's Daily Brief, the fastest growing podcast in America. Every weekday, we dive into foreign policy, global events, and international crises, delivering the facts and context quickly and with the analysis you won't find anywhere else. In the morning, get the insights you need with the President's Daily Brief. Then, as you head home, catch the PDB Afternoon Bulletin, perfectly timed for your end-of-day commute. Download us now on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
on this Wednesday, I have had quite enough of virtue signaling. Out of control situation right now. Here's an example. After some hateful congresswoman would not address Hamas raping Israeli women, the TV pundits couldn't get the outrage out fast enough, and it was appropriate. Although blanket Hamas condemnation should be a given, however, it is not. So where's the criticism of progressives on that? The corporate media has enabled far-left fanatics for years. Now the enabling is on full anti-Semitic display across the country. MSNBC's entire business model is coddling and promoting the progressive agenda. America is bad, cops are bad, criminals are victims of a racist society. All abortion is noble. Skin color, not merit, should dictate outcomes. White men are evil, pot is good, on and on and on and on. The progressive movement believes Israel is a fascist country that practices genocide or some such stupidity. So, as Susan Sarandon put forth, they are tasting Hamas's medicine. Appalling doesn't even come close. But this garbage has been going on for years, and maybe you virtue signalers might want to point that out. Back after this. If you thought booking your timeshare was difficult before, you know it's almost impossible now. For more than a decade, Lone Star Transfer has helped thousands of owners legally and permanently get out of their never-ending timeshare fees. Lone Star Transfer guarantees the release of all liability to your timeshare in writing and in a specific time frame. For free, no-obligation consultation, please call 855-551-7066 or go to LoneStarTransfer.com. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid-40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk.
Nothing they do is by surprise. They telegraph what they want to do, and then they brag about it afterwards. It's a way to keep us at each other's throats.
This was just a white on black crime, and you can already see the narrative starting to form in real time.
News, analysis, opinion.
The key to winning in 2024.
I think we need to focus on who's in front here, who's bad for our party, and who would be bad for this country.
101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
This is not all kumbaya.
And newstalkstl.com. Watch us on our live stream using Rumble, Facebook, and Twitter. Let's get the day started right. This is Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Well, the hard left is at it again in Congress. Old Chucky Schumer says he wants to introduce a national assault weapons ban. You may think, but the Second Amendment already talks about that. The Supreme Court's already ruled on it. Well, yes and yes, but that's not getting through Senator Schumer's head, and it's not getting through the head of a lot of folks at all levels of government. As we know, especially here in the St. Louis area with all of the folks on the Illinois side of the News Talk SNL listening area dealing with it from Illinois as well. So where do we go from here? 7:35, our friends from the American Firearms Association, Aaron Dorr, is going to be with us and give us that update. All right, the House of Mouse, Disney. Boy, not only have they really gotten into the culture war and, frankly, kind of the grooming precedent, well, or the grooming habit that we know of, they also, looks like, may have been dabbling in some government corruption as well because, you know, they had their own quasi-government for a long time, and the Florida legislature and Ron DeSantis decided to take that away from them once Disney tried to throw their weight around and engage in the culture wars and really stick up for, you know, child pornography in the schools and the LGBT stuff. So what we're finding out now is, boy, the Florida legislature and Governor DeSantis may have been more right than we realize. And Tyler O'Neill from the Daily Signal was on the show with us yesterday to give us the update of what that report found. It's fascinating stuff, and here's what he had to say.
DailySignal.com. All right, that's where you want to be. It's one of the places I look for content every day. And yesterday, right after the show, I'm looking through there. And great article by Tyler O'Neill. It's called "It's the Mouse's House: How Disney Captured Local Government with Perks Akin to Bribes." And we're joined now by Tyler O'Neill. And Tyler, I feel like we need to step back just a minute or so, or a little step back just a little bit to set the stage here. What we're talking about is this quasi-governmental sweetheart deal that Disney has had for a long, long time. And it came into controversy when the Florida legislature and Ron DeSantis, they took it away from them because, you know, obviously part of that was a response to Disney's trying to push their, you know, woke and sexual agenda and all that kind of stuff. And so Ron DeSantis and the legislature said, hey, you want to be activist? Fine, but you don't get to be a quasi-government. A lot of debate over that, and that's fine. But now we're getting information that there could have been, or looks like there was, a lot of corruption within the Disney quasi-government as I'm reading yours and other articles on this. So let's step back and just kind of set the table for the full discussion here.
Yeah. So a little over, 60 years ago, I think it was, we had, or more than 50 years, there's nothing so permanent as a temporary government district. Because what happened was Disney lobbied and got a bill saying they could get this special district, the Reedy Creek Improvement District, in order to enable them to build Disney World and to develop the properties that they had. And so, maybe back in the 60s, this wasn't the worst idea in the world. But by 2023, its time had long come. And so when DeSantis finally moved, he ended their special relationship. And this special relationship, now we're finally seeing these documents, which were released by the new district that was taking over after Disney's Reedy Creek Improvement District was sunsetted. And these documents are really damning. What we essentially had was a situation where local government employees had tremendous perks with Disney, such that, as the report says, these employees had no idea where their obligations and duties to Reedy Creek Improvement District ended and where their obligations to Disney began.
Wow. Good morning, Tyler. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So just for a primer a little bit for some of the people who are not exactly familiar with the Reedy Creek District, what exactly did it have jurisdiction over? What was its relationship like with, I guess, the city in which it resides?
Yeah, so it's right around the Orlando area, and the Reedy Creek Improvement District oversees a large plot of land, much of which Disney is the majority landowner, but not the sole landowner. So we've actually seen situations where, for instance, the Department of Defense runs a resort for veterans called Shades of Green. And this resort has come into conflict with Disney in the past. And particularly, there's one case in these documents that shows the Reedy Creek Improvement District, again, the local government there, talking back and forth saying like, oh, Disney doesn't want this. Disney doesn't want this. Disney really wants this, but Shades of Green would not be happy with it. Well, we can all guess which one they went with, because all of these employees had these crazy perks from Disney. And these are things that a Disney fan could only dream of, like unlimited year-long passes to every single Disney property in the world, with one exception, that one being Tokyo. So, if you wanted to go to any Disney property, not just across the U.S., but in the world, you could. And that was just the starting point for these employees. These local government employees, as part of their contract, they could claim one pass for themselves that got them to every single Disney park. They could claim another pass for their spouse, and then they could claim 3 transferable passes. And if they had any more dependents than 3, they could claim more than that. So that's 5 passes right there per employee. And these people, these passes that they had, they didn't expire when they retired. So a lot of retirees, former employees of the district, still had these passes when they retired. And so we see on these documents, and the cost of these passes just kept going up. By the way, this was a weird, some of these benefits used to be covered by Disney, and then a few years back, the Reedy Creek Improvement District decided that they were going to pay Disney for them, because apparently they thought that it was too much for their employees to just get these automatically. So they started paying, and this is, taxpayers paid $1.5 million one year just for these passes. And the employees also got other perks as well. Like they got discounts on Disney cruises. They got discounts on food at Disney properties. They got these lavish parties. Like a retirement party cost $15,000 at a Disney resort. That's for these local government employees. So these people are being wined and dined by Disney. And this is a problem because they're the local government there. They're supposed to be neutral in making decisions between Disney and the other landowners in the district.
Yeah, and we're visiting with Tyler O'Neill from the Daily Signal, and I know Stell's got a question, but I just, as context, I want to put in that somebody may say, okay, so they got to go to the theme park or whatever. There have been people who have had their ethics questioned and had ethics violations by taking free tickets to a Super Bowl or to a big concert. So what Tyler's describing is a much larger scale than even that one event. Stell?
Hey, good morning. Tyler Stel Ponticus here. I'm going to share this with you in hopes that maybe you've got a comment about it, and it's a little bit inside Disney, maybe. Over the years, I've had the opportunity to go down there a couple of times with morning shows that I worked with, and those were for special anniversaries and celebrations at Disney World. And they had a great setup for morning shows. They took care of you. We would be down there for 3 or 4 days. Lodging and everything else. The interesting thing is we always had a chaperone with us. And this individual would monitor everything that we said on the air. And if we ventured into some subject that would maybe be out of bounds a little bit, we would either get a look from him or her. Both times for us, it was a guy. Very nice guy, by the way. We would always get a look. And after our discussion, he would say, hey, don't talk about that again, or that was a great talk. That was a great discussion on the characters here. But that was very interesting to me. I wasn't expecting that, but this chaperone was with us all the time during the day. The only time we didn't see him was in the evening,
which would be really creepy.
Yeah. Well, I think we've seen this sort of approach from Disney for a while. They're very proprietary and known for being proprietary about everything. And that's what makes it really, really noteworthy to me that they decided to step into the whole political morass, and they decided to start alienating some of their own base, because Disney has a very carefully cultivated image of being family friendly, but also being, a little bit on the progressive, not in necessarily a political sense, but they always they always wanted to give off that, like, we're hip, we're cool, we're a little bit ahead of the curve. So they would be very pro-traditional values and very hip. And you get this wonderful balance that really defined Disney for a long time. And in recent years, they've kind of thrown out the traditional, the respect for authority, and they've leaned in to this more left-leaning thing, and that's alienating a lot of their audience. But yeah, they've always been very careful. And if you want to sell anything that looks vaguely like a Disney property, like their intellectual property, they'll hammer you, they'll go after you, they'll sue you. And I think that kind of speaks, your experience there speaks to generally how careful they were. And one of the reasons why they wanted to have this control over the local government, because then they can really call all their shots.
Right, yeah, because if a show goes down there right now, they don't want somebody talking about, that now leaked creative meeting where they were discussing how to advance an LGBTQ agenda in the content created for children, and they don't want that. So if you go down there, they're going to make sure you're not talking about that because it's going to reflect poorly on them. Okay, the article is called "It's the House's Mouse: How Disney Captured Local Government with Perks Akin to Bribes." So we're talking about governmental corruption at the behest of Disney. You can find it at dailysignal.com, and I actually just posted that link on our Rumble chat box as well. It was written by Tyler O'Neill. And Tyler, hey, good job on the article again. Really appreciate you giving us the update here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. My pleasure. Glad to be here.
The news roundup coming your way here in just about 2 minutes and 36 seconds right here on 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. The news and talk
I think Biden and just about every American politician has blood on their hands.
that matters to St. Louis.
Consequence of this is Hamas will be more difficult to defeat.
This is 101.9 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
Everybody wants the economy to grow, right? But how do you feel about officials in effect giving your tax money to developers for their private projects? In the past 15 years, the city of St. Louis alone has diverted $709 million to developers in tax subsidies or abatements. That was money that would have gone to basic services like schools and public safety. Even worse, numerous studies around the country show these kinds of subsidies don't produce the promised jobs and growth. There's nothing wrong with developers wanting to build new shopping centers or company headquarters, but why should they get tax subsidies to do so? If it's a good business idea, great, but let them assume the risks as well as any possible rewards. It's time to reform economic development subsidies in Missouri. Check out our 2023 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
Is your family prepared for the financial burden of losing a loved one?
Are you aware of the cost of a funeral?
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for lifetime permanent final expense insurance coverage with no medical exam required.
Just answer a few health questions, and once accepted, your rates never increase.
Do you have diabetes? High blood pressure?
Have you had a heart attack? A stroke?
No problem.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial can help protect your legacy.
Call or text 314-866-8886. That's 314-866-8886.
To learn more about permanent lifetime final expense insurance coverage.
Benjamin Schaefer with Senior Memorial could help you qualify for immediate coverage by answering just a few health questions.
Call or text 314-866-8886. Or learn more at memorialplans.com. That's memorialplans.com.
Policies underwritten by Senior Life Insurance Company, not available in all states.
All right, folks, let's get started. Parents, thanks for coming. As many of you know, I'm Coach Mather. Tonight I want to talk about the season, of which I only have one expectation: that everybody gets stronger. When I say get stronger, I'm not referring solely to physical strength. Sure, we'll be in the weight room, we'll be running stairs, but we're also going to focus on developing mental toughness and grit, because those are the characteristics that allow us to achieve greatness both on and off the court. So, how do we develop those things? By getting comfortable with a challenge, by cultivating the confidence necessary to overcome adversity in all forms. That's why I coach. That's my purpose. Every member of this team can lean on me, and I'll teach them how they can lean on themselves and each other.
This message presented by the MSH SAA and the Missouri Interscholastic Athletic Administrators Association.
This news update brought to you by Anton's Plumbing and HVAC. Call Anton's at 314-338-3941 or visit them at antonshvac.com.
Good morning, St. Louis. It's Ben Shapiro. I'll talk to you tonight at 11. But right now, back to the Mike Ferguson Show on the new conservative voice of St. Louis, 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL.
All right, Senator Chucky Schumer is talking tough about guns again.
Well, you know, he wants to fundamentally change America.
Yeah. Well, there's some unfinished business when it comes to fundamentally changing America on the left. They're still working on. So here's the question, though, Stell. Should we take his threat to your Second Amendment rights seriously?
The answer, from my perspective, yeah.
Yeah, I think you're right. And so a little bit later on today, we got our friends from the American Firearms Association. You may say, listen, Second Amendment says what it says. Supreme Court's ruled what it ruled, but we know that the game plan of the hard left is disarm you. Disarm the public. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on. Also, a women's bicycle race in Illinois gets national attention. Hey, want to guess why?
Oh, let me think.
Yeah, we'll go there again. All right, and not many people are interested in the 2023 version of the COVID vax. I wonder why.
Let me think.
Yeah, I got a lot for you to think about today, Stel. All right, 5:51 right now. I'm Mike Ferguson. Okay, St. Louis Circuit Attorney Gabe Gord, now been on the job for 6 months. And between his staff and help from both the Missouri Attorney General's office and prosecutors from other offices, he's making progress on getting caught up on the backlog of cases. We're going to go into more depth on this later on this morning here. But there's still a long way to go, and Gore says he needs more resources, as in he wants the city to fund more staff prosecuting attorneys. Now, in the 6 months, when you look at the 6 months that he was in office, including the time he was just trying to figure out where the bathrooms are and where the file cabinets are, so that 6 months, compared to the same 6 months a year ago, there have been 45% more cases prosecuted under Gabe Gore's watch.
That's pretty impressive.
And he had to spend weeks just cleaning up the mess and figuring out where all the deficiencies were. So that's a big improvement. But we'll go into more depth just a little bit later on. Has it made St. Louis safer? No. Not yet, because I don't think the message has gotten through to the criminals, and there's still too many criminals running around. But it looks like he is chipping in to the problem just as he promised. All right, let's see here. Washington, D.C. House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer, as we know, released subpoenaed bank records, and the Oversight Committee says this shows Hunter Biden's law firm making direct payments to Joe Biden. Now Republicans are calling for a formal impeachment inquiry of the president. Congressman Byron Donalds, the Republican from Florida, was on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business Channel and gave his reaction to that information.
We've now seen the bank accounts. We've seen the bank transfers. Not only was the family taking money, Joe Biden was taking money. And so the question for the American people now is, did Joe Biden take that money, and is he still compromised by foreign leaders?
Okay, so the Washington Post has the story here. They were one of the first. They say the three payments in question happened in 2018, so Joe Biden was not president yet, and it was several $1,000s to pay, to pay for a truck that Biden gave his son while Hunter was in the peak of his drug addiction and other issues, shall we say. An impeachment inquiry vote by House Republicans could happen early next week. It's not about the truck. It's where did the money come from? That's what this is all about.
And you mentioned Hunter being in the middle of his drug addiction and also working for Burisma.
Yeah, exactly.
How did that happen?
Right. Yeah. Jeez. Okay, Senator Tommy Tuberville, this surprises me a little bit, announcing that he is dropping most of his hold on military promotions, except he is keeping a hold on some of the four-star generals. Pentagon Press Secretary Brigadier General Patrick Ryder gave his reaction during a press conference.
We're encouraged by the news and we'll continue to stay engaged with Senator Tuberville and the Senate directly to urge that all the holds on all our general and flag officer nominations be lifted to include those nominated for 4-star.
Okay, so keep in mind, Tuberville was holding up these promotions in protest of the Defense Department's policy that essentially subsidizes abortion in violation of federal law. If the service members live in a state like Missouri that doesn't allow abortion, if they traveled to Illinois or somewhere else to get an abortion, the federal government, your tax dollars, was paying for their travel. So it was subsidizing abortions. That's what Tommy Tuberville was protesting with those holds. And so he was asked about his decision to lift those holds with no change in the policy.
It was pretty much a draw. I mean, they didn't get what they wanted, we didn't get what we wanted, and just when you change the rules, it's hard to win.
I'm going to disagree. I think he kind of just said, I'm not going to win this, and I think he's given up on it. He's made a very strong point, but the policy has not been changed.
Now, from what I understand, he let the lower level ones go.
Yes.
But he's still protesting regarding the top 10 or 11?
I think it's 11. Yeah.
11.
Yeah.
Okay.
So most of them are going through. So essentially, he's kind of just backing off on this. But, to be fair, he's made a very, very strong point that put the discussion in the national conversation. Okay, St. Louis County Council says the government can make do with a budget that's about $14 million smaller than what Sam Page wants to spend next year. They're also proposing to not increase property tax rates, although 97% of homes have already been hit with an increase in assessments, meaning they're collecting more tax revenue anyway. Council's budget is almost 2.4% under Page's budget, but that's apparently enough to reduce the budget deficit from $41 million down to $26 million, meaning that they are spending $26 million more than they're actually taking in, which to me says you need to cut another $26 million. There's no use of Rams or NFL settlement money in the proposed budget, which will likely be voted on next week. So essentially you have a step in the right direction, but they're still spending too much money.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah. Okay, quick note on sports here. Blues are back in action tonight. They host the Vegas Golden Knights. Puck drops at 8 o'clock our time. The game is on ESPN+. Blues are 13-10-1 on the season. That is in the 5th place in the Central Division Western Conference. The Golden Knights are in 1st place in the Pacific Division, and, of course, the Blues just defeated the Knights in Vegas 2 days ago to get a pretty big win there. So the Blues are basically in the middle of the pack in the division, but it's a pretty competitive division this year. I mean, there's like nobody running away with it right away or anything like that.
And they beat Vegas with a record of 16-5-5.
Yeah.
Vegas is playing well.
Yeah.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey from My Pillows. My Pillow is excited to bring you their biggest bedding sale ever just in time for Christmas. Get the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. A set of pillowcases for only $9.98. Rejuvenate your bed with a My Pillow mattress topper for as low as $99.99. They also have blankets in a variety of sizes, colors, and styles. They even have blankets for your pets. Get quilts, down comforters, body pillows, bolster pillows, and so much more, all with the biggest discounts ever. They're also extending their money-back guarantee for Christmas until March 1st, 2024, making them the perfect gift for your friends, your family, and everyone you know. So go to mypillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE or call 800-645-1392, and you'll get huge discounts on all MyPillow bedding products, including the Giza Dream bed sheets for as low as $29.98. And get all your shopping done now while the quantities last.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. He's taking a stand. Republican Senator Lindsey Graham insisting there will be no foreign aid bill for Ukraine and Israel until Democrats agree to include resources to address the border crisis.
Senator Graham used Tuesday's FBI oversight hearing to accuse Democrats of playing a game, making just enough concessions on the border to win a handful of Republican votes for their aid package. But he warned,
we're united over here.
For Republicans, Graham says, the border is a matter of U.S. national security.
At a time when the threats to our nation are all-time high.
Graham says the bill cannot exclude border funding, despite the fact that he and other Republicans desire to pass a bill for Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan.
You're putting your nation at risk, and the consequence of this is going to be devastating to the world.
Bob Agnew reporting.
Their testimony was shocking. Jewish students telling Congress of the repulsive anti-Semitism they've been subjected to on the campuses of some of America's leading universities, including in the Ivy League. Anti-Semitism has surged worldwide since the vicious Hamas terrorist attack on Israel. And now there will be four candidates on the stage this evening for the fourth GOP presidential candidates debate. But the front runner among the Republicans is once again taking a pass.
As for Donald Trump, he's skipped all the debates so far. He says he doesn't want to give further attention to his trailing rivals. In the past, he's hosted counter-programming, a campaign rally. But this time he's going to be at a closed-door fundraiser instead.
Correspondent Jonathan Cooper. President Biden tells Democrat fundraisers he's not sure he'd be running for re-election if former President Trump wasn't making another bid for the White House. Mr. Trump says the Biden record is a train wreck on so many fronts, from the economy to national security to energy policy and beyond. On Wall Street, Dow futures up 35 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
So right now may be the perfect time for you to rethink how you pay for health care. And here's why. Not only is it open enrollment for a lot of people, it's also a time you can join MediShare and save even more than usual. For many families, switching to MediShare saves about $500 a month, which is a game changer for a lot of people. But what's more, they like it. MediShare has double the member satisfaction rate compared to health insurance. Double. MediShare is a proven thing, too. For over 30 years, it's a Christian community of more than 400,000 members. And here's the thing, too. If you join before December 15th and you mention the promo code SHARE, you'll get another $150 savings. So I'll give you the number here in a second, but just call. You'll get a price within 2 minutes. And remember, the deadline is December 15th. So call now and you'll save even more. Here's the number. 844-41-BIBLE. That's 844-41-BIBLE. 844-41-BIBLE.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL brought to you by Chris Cooper and Serenity Wealth Management. Discover little-known strategies that could be the difference between choosing the care you deserve or having someone else decide it for you. Get a free copy of Chris's book at serenityltc.com.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michaels Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michaels, and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michaels has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peters. Check out everything that Michaels has to offer at igotfloored.com.
This Saturday night at 10 on Stories of New Americans.
I'm joined by Dr. Khaled Jumian, who is originally from Jordan.
Then I went to Joplin, Missouri. I know you're going to ask about the tornado. I was in the hospital which being destroyed by the tornado.
Were you really?
There was like two hospitals across, one destroyed, one is not, but we opened tents and we treated patients in tents.
Stories of New Americans, Saturday nights at 10 on News Talk STL.
The Vic Borselli Show.
The inventor and the creator of the Be or Not the Bee, our very own Paul Kurtman, joins us to play the Be or Not the Bee Wednesday at 9:25.
Weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
I am a young, vibrant man.
Gabe Pfeiffer. I'm Batman.
Get up! Get up! Can't you hear the alarm? Get up! Get up!
We can't rebuild our economy and meet this climate crisis.
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
All right, politicians in Congress are holding hearings, or they held hearings on the current spike in anti-Semitism on campuses. Okay, so I mean, this got the potential to be a good conversation. There was a lot of, I don't know, Gabe, mixed results, I guess, in there.
Yeah, mixed.
So let's go over that here in a minute. But also the
Yeah.
question is, what can be done about it? And when you talk about hate on campuses, there's a lot of different aspects to it, including what people don't want to hear is that free speech, and this came up in the hearings, free speech allows you to expose yourself as an idiot and a bigot.
Yes.
So where's the line when it comes to that? And, you know, some people on the left are like, well, you're throwing a fit over, you're throwing a fit over anti-Semitism, but boy, you don't throw a fit over other things that they declare hate. But historically speaking, world history, spikes in anti-Semitism have historically shown terrible things to come right after that. It's
Yes.
a precursor.
Yes, it
to
is.
that. So we'll get to that in just a second here. It's 6:06 right now. That's Gabe. Got Stell here as well. Okay, I try not to talk in superlatives too much in the show. You know, the greatest, the worst. Okay, so I try not to do that because whenever I declare something the best or the worst, something's going to supersede that and become the next, But I have what's possibly the dumbest argument against school choice for you at 620.
Okay.
I mean, the dumbest.
Wow.
And it happened at a protest in St. Louis yesterday.
Okay, that's significant to me because most of them are dumb.
This one is like dumb to the dumb degree.
Wow.
Yeah. You definitely want to hear this at 620.
All
So
right.
it's dumber than the nth degree. It's the dumbest degree.
Yes.
The dumbest degree.
Exactly.
Yes. Wow.
Exactly.
That's significant.
So 620, you definitely want to hear this. Okay.
All right.
So what I did is I found a report on it from KMOV. And instead of like just grabbing the soundbite and telling everybody it came from KMOV, which is what I normally do, our news partners, who are our neighbors now, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
But I just it's like a minute and 15-second long story. I'm just gonna play the whole thing.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yep. Okay, we're gonna do that. All right. U.S. hearing on anti-Semitism took place Tuesday in the U.S. House.
I did see portions of this, and I am not shocked,
Right.
but I am appalled.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is it was a 5.5 hour hearing, and so there were good points made, there were questionable points made, there were nonsensical points made. You know, there was just a lot of back and forth, and you had the university presidents on their heels.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah. And so, for instance, it's the House Committee on Education and the Workforce is actually who held the hearing. And most of the time, these hearings, by the way, are for one purpose. It's to get sound bites.
It's a soundbite factor,
It's
yes.
a virtue signal,
Absolutely.
whether you're virtue signaling good or bad. But this lasted over 5 hours. Okay, so your alma mater, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT.
Yep.
Okay, their president, which is Dr. Sally Kornbluth, and she says she's trying to make the school or the students feel safer as hate crimes rise. But here's the clip that I think kind of did a synopsis of her reaction and assessment of what they're doing.
We have launched an MIT-wide effort called Standing Together Against Hate. It will emphasize both education and community building, especially in our residence halls. In addition to fighting anti-Semitism, it will address Islamophobia, also on the rise. and also underreported.
Yeah, okay. So,
Yeah, she's doing one of those.
Right.
Yeah, we all know what it is.
Yeah.
It's the false equivalency. It's the attempt to make a sort of a morally neutral argument. It's like, oh, let me not offend, the Islamists or what have you. While there is no comparison between the levels of hate being lobbed at Jews on campus versus any other group, let alone the Muslims.
Okay, so there were some interesting points made by the leftist university presidents and spokespeople,
And they are absolutely leftist.
right?
There's no
They are.
question.
But it was interesting, and I don't remember which one it was or which college it was. But they did point out. They said, some of this is free speech. It may be terrible, disgusting free speech, but it's free speech, and we have to be careful. I'm obviously summarizing,
You're paraphrasing.
Yeah, we have to be careful what we go after in terms of speech.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it is funny, though, that they've suddenly discovered free speech.
Exactly. Okay. See, that's. I'm glad you had the same reaction I did, because I'm hearing this, and what I'm thinking is, okay, but when somebody says there are only male and female, when somebody speaks up for a conservative religious orthodoxy or tries to invite campus speakers who are conservative, maybe one of the Daily Wire folks or whatever, all of a sudden that's hate speech, and we have to make sure there are people feeling safe. So if they were consistent all the way through, I would take their position on that seriously, because the fact of the matter is saying, well, listen, I mean, these may be anti-Semitic and they may be bigot, but they've got a right to hold up a sign that says, whatever.
To the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea.
Yeah.
They've got a right to say that and, frankly, expose everybody to everybody what a bigot they are. Okay, you could do that. And if they had said the same thing when somebody says defend having Michael Knowles, Riley Gaines, Larry Elder, whoever, on your speech, this hate speech,
right?
Donald Trump Jr., whatever, and if they would say, listen, this is where we exchange ideas. You don't want to listen to them, don't show up. They've got a right to say what they want to say. I'm not going to go because I'm a lefty, but they're, and if they had been doing that across the board, I would actually be in their corner on this.
Sure.
But I'm saying you've only come to this conclusion
in the last 5 minutes.
Right, in the last 5 minutes when the attacks are on Jewish people.
Yeah. So it makes it blatantly obvious where their bias lies, of course, because and I kind of made this point a long time ago, even before the university stuff kind of became a thing. But it's the same people who would say that misgendering someone is violence,
right,
and that you should go to jail for it. It's
right.
the same people who say that your silence is also violence.
You can't win.
In which case, you can't win. These are the same people who look at every single microaggression. They teach classes on it. They say, oh, you can't do this because it makes people feel unsafe. We're going to provide a safe space with counselors because you brought a conservative onto campus. All of these things are these are the same people who do that then go out and they spray paint Free Palestine on a Jewish shop owner's window, as though that is somehow protected.
Okay, so the president of your alma mater was among those who were speaking, MIT. And I did not warn you, I'm going to ask you this question. Okay, when you were at MIT, did you ever deal with the harassment or racism or anything, or did you ever deal with harassment because you're conservative?
No,
okay.
not at all.
You had a normal college experience.
I had pretty normal college experience. Now, to be fair, there were instances where I, and in college prior to 9/11 at least, I wasn't particularly political minded, so I wasn't looking for those things. I didn't notice. But after 9/11, as I was looking for these things, I realized how liberal the professors were. I realized how liberal my high school education had been, because I just kind of was reflective on a lot of things in that period. But it didn't rise to the level of what we see today.
Right.
And it's a significant increase in it, and it's more pervasive, it's more intrusive, I think, into the learning experience. I couldn't imagine what it'd be like going to school at MIT these days. I was stressed enough just trying to get through classes.
Well, yeah,
It's MIT.
Okay. Real quick here, just in the past week or so, there was a bicycle race in Illinois called the Illinois State Cyclocross Championship, which happened, I don't think it was this past weekend. I think it was the weekend before.
In Chicago.
In Chicago, yeah, that happened on this. And they have different divisions, men's, women's, and all this kind of stuff. Well, it's made national news. Anybody want to guess by? I will give you a hint because of the women's division.
There are, at least one, possibly two, maybe even three men on the stand at the end of it.
2 out of 3.
2, okay.
First and second place go to men.
There you go.
And there's a man who calls himself Tessa Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
There is a man who calls himself Evelyn Williamson.
Mm-hmm.
Whooped up on all the women in the women's division.
Of course.
And so the Johnson, the dude named Johnson, also came in third in another division of the women's thing. I mean, this isn't like huge money or anything, but you saw the picture of like the handmade podiums. I mean, it was literally like plywood.
Sure. It was low.
It was,
kind of
but
thing.
you had the dude on the top in the first place, the dude in the second place, and then there's this woman on the third place.
And it's not as though it's hard to tell.
Yeah. Yep.
Who's who?
Yeah.
You
The only woman on the podium there, third place finisher, Kristen Chalmers. So this Williams.
So, Gabe, are you inferring because of their tight outfits?
There are a lot. Let's just say when you look at the picture, there were a lot of ways to know for sure that these were men.
I was just asking.
Yeah, it just reminded me of a Mulvaney video, man.
Yeah,
I'm just saying,
I know.
Talking about normalizing certain features on the body.
This guy who calls himself Evelyn Williams has been racing in the women's category since 2017, and he's won 18 women's races.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
Well, there's a new movie out by the Daily Wire.
I know. I need to see that.
Now it's exclusive to Daily Wire Plus, so you gotta subscribe to that in order to get it. But I saw the trailer. It's called Lady Ballers.
I know, it's really and it looks funny,
and it harkens back to the the old comedies back in the '90s, which Joanna Man. I don't know if you remember that one.
That's right.
But the idea of a dude who just puts on a wig and goes out and whips on ladies.
I don't know how much a Daily Wire Plus subscription is, but I might have to do it just to watch that.
Just to watch the movie, yeah.
I mean, you know what? Fine, Jeremy, take my money. Whatever. And I normally don't like slapstick comedy, but that one just looks so outrageous. And then you see and it was funny because it was I think it was Matt Walsh, who said on one of the social media platforms, he said we couldn't find enough actors to take the jobs.
Yeah.
So we did it ourselves. So Matt Walsh is in this. Ben Shapiro is in this.
A lot of cameos. Ted Cruz shows up.
Ted Cruz is in this. Jeremy
Boring
is the star of it. And so it looks like it was really well done, and they spent the money to do it. So I may have to just check that out.
Relating to that bicycle race, by the way, Riley Gaines made an interesting comment. Stop participating in the farce.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. Piers Morgan spoke out against it. And Martina Navratilova.
Oh, wow. Really?
Spoke out against it. She's actually coming down on this trans stuff. Martina Navratilova, obviously one of the first open lesbians in women's sports, but she's been not like a hardcore hating men feminist, but she's been very feminist as far as like demanding, women's equality in sports and things. And she's taking aim at this as well. Well, the Chicago Cyclocross post on Twitter X saying discrimination or harassment of any kind on the basis of race, color, religion, age, gender, sexual orientation, gender identification, national origin, sports ball team affiliation. They actually said that.
Did they say that?
Yeah, or any other stupid ideas someone comes up with to belittle others will not be tolerated. Okay, I think that was a shot at St. Louis because it's in Chicago and maybe somebody doesn't like Cardinals fans. But anyway, what I'm saying here is that they can try to take that dismissive, condescending tone all they want. But my feeling is that more and more just normal people, not even people who are like hardcore political, have come around and they're not afraid anymore to say this is ridiculous.
Absolutely. Because
how dare you?
Because it's nakedly ridiculous.
Yeah.
I guess that's one of the things that that I think is hitting a lot of the normies out there. The people who aren't swimming in all of this political stuff 24/7 like we are,
so to speak.
So to speak.
Yeah.
but they're being confronted, daily now, and just with common sense problems. It's like, of course, a boy shouldn't be able to run against my daughter in this race. It doesn't make any sense. Why are we doing this? I've taken my daughter to these 6 a.m. practices for 3 years to get her up to snuff for this thing, and then some dude comes out of the back of the pack on the boys' side. This year decides to identify as a girl and whoops the whole field. As a parent, obviously you're confronted with that reality.
Right, exactly. And it goes against the leftist ideology, so this is one of the areas where the leftist ideology is just starting to crack. Now, they'll eventually find a way to try to patch it up, and they'll find some other reason to try to put us on the defense, but I'm wondering if this hasn't peaked for them and is starting to wane.
We haven't discussed it at all. Maybe other folks have, but I don't recall coming across this. What happens when the Summer Olympics come around again?
Yep.
Are we going to be dealing this times 1,000?
Possibly.
Oh, man.
I've just lost interest in the Olympics, and I think some of it is because of some of this stuff.
Look, if I'm one of these countries that usually comes in, 57th in these events, I might field some men.
Yeah,
I might do it.
True. That's true.
Look at Senegal. They're awesome.
Cool runnings, man. All right, just ahead here, the dumbest argument against school choice I've ever heard, and we can be proud that it came from St. Louis.
Okay, here we go.
Yay us.
Yay.
Let's do that around 6:22.
For podcast articles and more, find us on newstalkstl.com.
You want to give me more information? You want to take the place of what I trust?
Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
But false impressions, well, baby, they will last forever. Stop it right now!
Car and Driver magazine says the 2024 Toyota Land Cruiser is cool and affordable. 2024 Toyotas are showing up every day, ready for immediate delivery at Ackerman. In fact, Toyota has awarded Ackerman more vehicles than all competitors. Check it out yourself at Ackerman Toyota, Hampton and Interstate 44, or online, AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota will get you the best deal. Ackerman Toyota, for life.
The Vic Porcelli Show.
This is Ben. Hi, Ben. We got a serious issue in Chicago. Immigrants coming into their community. It could be making its way down here. They're talking about 17,000 migrants from Venezuela moving to Chicago. I've been a Democrat my whole life, and since October 7th, everything going on, I don't know how this is values for everybody. The people who have already been working hard and trying to build a life for themselves here.
Vic Porcelli, weekday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL.
Tony Colombo here for Cadre Asset Management. A cadre is defined as a small group of people specially trained for a particular purpose or profession, and that is the role that Cadre Asset Management can play in your financial journey. Learn more about how they can help secure your financial future by following Cadre Asset Management on Facebook, or just go to cadreassetmgmt.com.
Cadre Asset Management is a Missouri-based independent advisory firm licensed under and securities and investment advisory services offered through Founders Financial Securities, LLC, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter.
Hi, it's Todd Showalter from The Right Mind Show, where we put the fun in our dysfunctional world. And there's nothing more dysfunctional than the holidays. Crowded malls, drunk relatives, and of course, the holiday fruitcake, who I refer to as my Uncle Bob. So join me and my buddy Joey B this Saturday, won't you? Hey, it's better than kissing Grandma under the mistletoe.
The Right Mind Show with Todd Showalter. Saturday evenings at 5 on News Talk STL. Brought to you this holiday by LiberalJoke.com.
I'm Susie Moore, and this is More to the Point. 247 years ago, Thomas Paine penned The Crisis, observing that these are the times that try men's souls, and inspiring Washington's troops to cross the Delaware and defeat the Hessians on Christmas night. Believe it or not, Paine's quote was called to mind as I thought about the importance of humor. While it's true that war is no laughing matter, the ability to find humor, even in the darkest of times, speaks to the resiliency of the human spirit. A week or so ago, Elon Musk observed on Twitter, or X, whatever, that in any given conflict, the way to tell who the good guys are is whoever has the best sense of humor. That may sound simplistic, but I do believe he's onto something. I can't think of a glummer, more dreary group of people than the perpetually outraged professional left. When was the last time you saw anyone on the far left say or do anything remotely funny? Conversely, Even in the face of the horror of October 7th and the ensuing war, we see satirical accounts like the Mossad and the Gaza Ministry of Health that find ways to laugh in the face of evil. Perhaps that's because the good guys have the advantage of knowing, deep down, that in the end, evil won't win. And ultimately, it's the good guys who have the last laugh.
Susie Moore is Deputy Managing Editor for RedState.com. For more to the point and everything Susie Moore, log on to RedState.com. Follow Susie on Twitter @SmoozyQ and keep listening to 1019 and 94.1 News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at Stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hi, it's Dan Bongino here, and I'm proud to be on News Talk STL every weekday from 11 to 2. Right now, you're listening to Mike Ferguson in the Morning.
All right, when schools are failing kids, what's a good step in the right direction?
Parental choice.
Yeah, okay.
Clearly. That's it.
That's it. Well,
That's
it's not clear to everybody, Gabe. All right, 25 right now. Okay, some eggheads decided to do a survey to find out why so many people are refusing the new COVID vax. They just couldn't figure it out. They just don't understand.
I don't understand why they don't trust us anymore.
Yeah, we're going to explain the reasons around 6:35. Okay. All right, so a protest was held yesterday in St. Louis. It wasn't a huge one, but a bunch of left-wing activists were speaking against the addition of a new charter school being added in St. Louis, or the proposal for this.
Because more schools is bad.
Right.
I guess.
Well, you're about to hear why more schools is bad.
Okay.
By the way, don't forget, charter schools are public schools.
They're public schools.
Right. So instead of grabbing the different sound bites and stuff, Channel 4 did a reader on this last night with a couple of sound bites. And, I thought, it's like a minute, 15 minute, 20. I'm just going to play their report, okay?
Okay.
But I am telling you, you are about to hear one of the most mind-numbingly stupid arguments against school choice that these people actually believe.
Give me a second. Let me take
Prepare. Coffee.
Yeah,
Sip,
I need to sip.
sip,
I need to sip.
sip,
I need to sip
sip.
my daily white supremacy.
Yep. Okay. All right. Now he's ready. Now he's
Okay.
ready. Here we
All
go.
right. I'm going to go.
A debate spilling from the classroom to the streets. Dozens gathered today to protest the expansion of charter schools in the St. Louis Public School District. Those against the plan believe there is an effort to prioritize charter schools over public schools.
Here we go.
Opening new schools will cause more chaos for our families that are remaining in our community. Parents and caregivers will be forced to figure out what schools their child should attend, when all of the community schools, as Gloria said, should have all the resources for our students, for our families, and for our educators to thrive.
Well done. That's a new...
The citizen group calls itself Save Our Public Schools. They aim to halt the opening of new charter schools in the area, including Believe STL Academy. The group accuses charter schools of purposely trying to leave public schools in the dust. They want resources put in struggling public schools, which are already facing declining enrollment. However, proponents of charter schools say that they are needed to fill the gaps and failures of SLPS. Crystal Barnett runs Bridge to Hope, a group working to educate parents on both public and charter kids on how to advocate for their kids.
The look on your face right now.
Our children, including my own, are not doing well in these schools. And we're doing the work that we need to do as families to make sure that they get what they need.
Believe STL Academy is scheduled to open in fall of 2024, but the SLPS board is suing to prevent the school from opening.
Yeah, so the school board is suing to stop another school from opening. And by the way, in case you wanted to hear the dumbest argument against school choice because of the reaction of Gabe's face, I'm gonna do this to you again. Here,
Oh, no.
And they did not identify who this person was that was speaking, so I don't know her name.
Opening new schools will cause more chaos for our families that are remaining in our community. Parents and caregivers will be forced to figure out what schools their child should attend.
Oh, noes!
What?
Did I deliver on my promise that this was the dumbest argument I've ever heard?
Holy crap. I mean, you know how like there are some people who shouldn't wear certain things. There are other people who should not be given microphones. It's a fact of life. My goodness. So the burden being placed on parents is that now you got two different places you can send your kid. It's amazing. why would you put this burden on me?
When you could put it on the ever so competent and excellent performing St. Louis Public School Board of Education.
Imagine you have a really badly run McDonald's restaurant in your town. It's the only restaurant in town, miles and miles around. If you want to eat out, you got to go to that McDonald's. It's infested with roaches. The food is usually moldy and the service is bad. But the Chick-fil-A is trying to move in a little further down the street, and you want to protest because why should we have choices of where to go for restaurants?
McDonald's needs the resources to do better.
McDonald's needs it. Why are you taking resources from McDonald's? If only they had more money, they could improve their service, right? Right?
I love that, but I'm going to ask a quick question here. Was there a comment at the beginning of that story from the classrooms to the streets?
No.
That was in the
Was
copy.
there?
Yeah, the very beginning.
In the copy?
Well, in the report that you played.
From the what?
At the very beginning, the audio has a statement in there from the classrooms to the streets.
Let me see here.
A debate spilling from the classroom to the streets.
A debate spilling. Oh,
from. Okay.
That was maybe ill-advised copy.
Yeah, I would say so.
yeah,
definitely.
Okay.
That kind of triggered me for a second.
Jeez.
But my other favorite part is when he was reporting on opponents of the charter school are accusing charter schools of trying to leave regular public schools in the dust.
Right.
How do you leave them in the dust? By
Performing
well, by delivering a quality education. That's how you leave them in the dust.
And then one of the ladies admits that her kid is failing in the public school. She's like, he's not doing well.
Well, but she's the one who says they need charter schools. She was like, yes, this is why we need
them. Okay, that was the advocate.
Pro.
Okay,
yeah,
good. Okay, that's good.
One.
That's good. I was like, that makes sense.
I mean,
All
but
right.
think about it. You made the McDonald's.
Sorry, I was just my brain was just so off.
I know. You should have seen the look on his face if you were watching us on video. But the funny part is I mean, it's not funny, but for instance, you made the McDonald's example, but to say that it causes chaos and parents will be burdened with the decision making as to where to send your kid to school. I mean, do you complain because you have a list of doctors you can take your kid to?
It's really wild.
Right. I mean, for crying
It's like
out loud.
I don't like going to the grocery store and having to pick a cereal. Do you see how many cereals there are? And it's the burden to pick. What the government needs to do is pare down all of the companies so they can only produce one cereal. So then I know, and I don't have to be burdened with choice.
Stop saying that out loud because Bernie Sanders will go, that makes sense. He once complained there were too many options in deodorant.
Yeah, you're right.
I don't know why he's complaining about how many leftists don't use deodorant.
Well, he'd be in the protests. A lot of them.
Okay, a lot of eggheads just don't understand why so many people don't want the latest COVID vaccine.
Oh, no.
They actually commissioned a survey to find out.
You got to spend money.
I actually have the results, and we'll talk about that and try to educate them. But I will say that I am a little concerned that that some of the confusion and the anger could spill over into people taking it too far.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So be prepared to get mad at me, but not really because I'm on your side.
Okay.
Okay. Let's talk about that right around 6:34 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Like us on Facebook at News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning. From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
You live in St. Charles County? Then you can
can get Mid-Rivers News Magazine delivered free to your home just by asking for it. Mid-Rivers News Magazine is the only print source for the political, school, business, and sports news happening in your hometown. Simply visit midriversnewsmagazine.com/subscribe to get a copy delivered to your mailbox. Or you can pick up a free copy at all area Deerbergs and Schnuck stores. Mid-Rivers News Magazine. Anybody who wants it gets it. Anybody who gets it wants it. Subscribe for free today.
One of the 5 most traumatic experiences in life is moving. I can assure you that McGuire Moving can help ease that pressure. Moving into a new home or a new business, locally, internationally. McGuire is rated number 1. More than 80 years of experience. Free estimate, call McGuire, 314-241-0600. 241-0600. McGuireMoving.com.
Hey, Columbo here with a great holiday offer from the cleaning pros at Zero Res. Just mention the Columbo special when you book a cleaning in the month of December, and you'll get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at just $129. Plus, you can take $50 off your air duct cleaning. We trust Zero Res because they are simply the best when it comes to cleaning any surface in your home. And just remember to mention the Columbo special when you call 314-474-2020 or book online anytime at ZeroResSTL.com.
So many ways to listen to News Talk STL.
Come join the conversation. All you have to do is say,
Hey Alexa, play News Talk STL.
Welcome to News Talk STL, conservative talk radio for St. Louis.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arps this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You don't know me, but I'm your brother.
No, turn it back up. It's Michael McDonald. It's great stuff, man. Michael McDonald's on my list of like perfect road trip music. There's good music for different things.
Mm-hmm.
I would put like Michael McDonald, Bob Seger, Jackson Brown, Otis Redding, all in kind of that great road trip music.
Okay,
You're driving somewhere, especially like maybe spring or summer, and you just want to crank up some tunes. That's the kind of that's my like road trip music.
That'd be your mixtape.
Yes.
For the road.
Yes.
Okay.
There's a certain level of low key aspect to a lot of the songs that they have that like because you have your rocking out songs and you need those.
I got my I'm a metal guy.
Yeah,
you know,
you got your rocking out songs and you got these low key songs where you're just just cruising.
Yeah, just cruising music, man.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I love this story. Oh my goodness. Okay, so health officials and a college university commissioned a survey to find out why a lot of Americans are saying no thanks to the latest COVID vaccine.
By the way, I need to get in on the survey business, on the study business,
Yes.
because it's really cost effective, or I should say, it's really profitable. It seems to tell people really common sense things. So I could probably pocket like $500K and spend 10K doing the actual study.
Yeah, because they're not sure and they were confused by people going no.
It's like, why?
I don't think so.
Why do people?
And by the way, I found the story on the Hill. So we're not talking about a conservative news.
Oh,
site.
yeah.
We're talking about a
no right wing rag here.
At best, center left,
Mm-hmm.
if not full left leaning. Okay. By the way, News Talk STL's debate night coverage is tonight, starting at 7:00. So this is the 4th Republican presidential primary debate, possibly the last one. So now we do know it is going to be a 4-person debate. Vivek Ramaswamy and Chris Christie are going to be there, along with Nikki Haley and Ron DeSantis. It will be carried live right here on News Talk STL. It is America Decides 2024. I'll have some clips from it tomorrow. We'll get everybody's impression about it.
All right.
I think it's going to be interesting. It's absolutely worth listening to.
Sure.
I don't know that this is going to be as crucial as the first one or the third one.
Yeah, I imagine, most of the as wonky as primaries get in terms of their viewership, listenership, I think only the wonkiest of wonks like us are going to be the ones tuning in for this.
And
thing.
honestly, I'll probably put it on background and do other stuff. I mean, I'll listen. I'm not going to be like as dialed into it as I have been on the others.
I have found it interesting over the past few days. Trump's comments, just in speeches and on TV. The interview with Hannity last night. And his
well, it was kind of a town hall thing he did last night.
That's right, town hall. And he had his appearance in Iowa over the weekend. He's been very pointed in his comments regarding not only Biden and the Democratic Party, but the race in general. It just seems like he's really focused in, and if folks are wondering where he stands on different subjects and different items, they need to check out those, especially those two, the Hannity town hall and also his Iowa speech on Saturday. Boy, he really zoned in on stuff.
Yeah, and he should be there with the other candidates and challenge them and be challenged by them. I mean, that's what he should be doing, but he's not going to do it. He's not going to be at the one tonight as well. So, it is what it is. Okay, here's the headline for that Hill story, okay, on the COVID vaccine.
Yeah.
Most people in America's heartland will forego updated COVID vaccines, according to a survey.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so nearly 60% of Americans in the Midwest and the surrounding states say they will not get the new COVID-19 vaccine this year, according to a survey from Emerson College Polling, which was commissioned. That poll was commissioned by, I think it was the CDC. So
what's funny is I could have pulled a number out of the air, and come within the margin of error of what they got.
Yep. So here's the thing, exactly. So the Emerson College survey found that Americans overall basically split down the middle on whether to get the updated vaccine. 51% nationally actively saying no. Now, that doesn't mean that 49% are getting it. It just means 51% say absolutely not for whatever reason.
Right.
Okay. Now, with that other 49%, you're going to probably have some people like, whatever, I don't care. But they may or may not do it. And then there's the...
treat it like the flu vaccine.
Right. And then there's the others who are going to put the Band-Aid on their arm like a flag.
Oh, yes.
Flag
and then post on social media, got my 57th jab.
That's right.
But you mentioned the percentages. I find it interesting at the beginning of the story. It says nearly 60% of Americans living in the Midwest and surrounding states, i.e., from my perspective, the deplorables.
Right, flyover country.
Flyover country.
Yes.
That's us.
So in the survey, 57% of the Midwest and surrounding states, like what you were saying, say they will not get the booster, okay, or the shot of the booster. So in Wyoming, though, that is 74% of people saying hell no. 74%. And then you're into 2/3 of people in North Dakota, Oklahoma, Kentucky, West Virginia, and Idaho will say they will not or probably will not get the survey. So here's some of my favorite parts of this here. There's a quote from Kenneth Rabin. He is with the City University of New York Graduate School of Public Health and Health Policy, which was among those commissioning the survey here.
Okay, yeah.
So he says, and I'm quoting here, these findings should be a wake-up call to health communicators as we can no longer rely on mandates and must engage people in real conversations to encourage them to vaccinate themselves and their families. And the CDC, and I mentioned this the other day, they've actually posted publicly in press releases and on social media posts, and I'm quoting here, here's the bottom line, COVID-19 vaccine uptake is lower than we'd like to see, and most people will be without the added protection that can reduce the severity of COVID-19 in the statement they put out. So CDC did not, to correct myself, did not commission the survey, but that's the response. And so, the polling was 1,500 registered voters, and so other states may or may not have been represented in there. But what you've got here are health officials and government officials sitting there going, why aren't people listening to us? And now what they're finding is, well, they don't trust us. And when the one guy says, well, we just can't rely on mandates anymore. But here's the thing is
that's
that
very telling.
Usually these stories and usually these promotions for this, they're saying this is respiratory virus season.
Right.
And it's like St. Louis gunk season. I mean, I've got a little tickle in my throat. I think just about everybody here does. I mean, I was doing an interview yesterday for my weekend show, and there was a woman, and she was in Memphis, and she's like, it's just going around here. It's just that time of year. And it seems like there's almost a pressure by the so-called health officials to save face because we're going to go through the season of colds and flus and RSV and COVID. We're going to go through it one way or the other. It's going to peak and it's going to end at basically the same time no matter what.
Yeah.
But they want that correlation, and they want to rush and get everybody to get the vaccine so they can claim that, boy, did we contain it with this, when the last 3 years shows us that the rates aren't going to change with a vaccine. Now, here's I said what I'm a little bit concerned about is that there is such an anti-vaccine vaccine backlash is the word I'm looking for.
Yes.
That I'm worried that there are some people who are going to say absolutely not, no vaccines whatsoever, and not get the tried and true ones that we've had for generations for themselves or their kids.
Right. And I think the CDC and other health officials' efforts to try and conflate the COVID-19 vaccine with the tried and true, and especially the in general mRNA type vaccines with these other cultured virus vaccines. Them trying to conflate those has also led to, I think, a lot of this decision by a lot of people to just say, you know what, no jabs,
right?
Because the last thing you would want to happen is someone say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I gave you the combo jab."
Yes,
you know. What I mean?
Yeah. See, that is a worry. Mm-hmm. I mean, I just don't care. I couldn't care less about a flu shot. I mean, I a couple years ago, I was in a hospital with that heart thing that I had to deal with. And while I was in the hospital, they said, "Hey, we just got all the new flu shots. You want a flu shot?" I'm like, "Okay, sure. It's convenient, whatever." I'm not going to go out of. I probably won't go out of my way. Like, I got to go pick up some prescriptions today. They may or may not have flu shots. I don't know. I'm not asking about it. But when it comes to the COVID shot, I'm not getting it. But to me, we know that it doesn't prevent you from getting it, and I just don't trust the people involved because it's become a political and virtue signaling statement. It's not about anybody's health.
And here's the other thing, as we've just kind of been going along with our lives, just thinking about a ton of other things, study after study keeps coming out showing the ineffectiveness of these various means of dealing with the virus, be it the mask or the jabs. There was this one study that said that,
ironically cough right in the middle of
it. There's one study that said that people who got the vaccine or particularly like I think the second or third booster or something like that were more susceptible to the later variants than anybody with any other method of immunity.
But here's the thing: is they're acting confused when early on. Remember this was if you think that this was never political from the beginning, Operation Warp Speed happened under President Trump.
Yes.
And the left and the Democrats absolutely threw a fit over the vaccine. There's no way, how dare you? I don't trust the Trump administration. States are setting up like quality control things before they allow it in their state.
Oh, it was a major election year thing.
Absolutely.
Kamala Harris said, "I'm never going to get a Trump jab."
That's right. Trump's talking about the beautiful vaccine, et cetera, et cetera. And then the election happens, and we've got President Biden. And
the day after the election.
Yeah, now the left is all about the vaccine and you deniers and all this kind of stuff. And then all of a sudden, a whole bunch of people on the right were like, "I'm not getting that thing at all," And so it's been political from the whole thing from the start. And so, listen, if there's something tried and true, I'm not scared of a flu shot. But with this one right here, I'm like, this isn't about health or medicine. This is about politics. And when you see people like virtue signaling social media, "I got my COVID shot," I'm like, well, good for you. You're probably walking around wearing a mask too.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have seen a number of people wearing masks. I was at Walgreens the other day to pick up a prescription, and there were like 4 people in there wearing masks again. And so now what I do is when I walk, I will make sure I go down the aisle next to them and walk right by them just to scare them. I honestly got to do that. If you are still wearing a mask right now, you look like an idiot.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, you look. And I know there's somebody who's like, "Oh, I've got somebody with leukemia in my family and I have to be." Okay. I'm just saying that even if you're one of those tiny fraction of 1% who thinks you have a valid reason, walking around outside or walking around public with a mask, 3 years after we have darn near empirical evidence showing they do nothing.
We have absolute empirical evidence.
You look stupid.
Yeah.
And I'm going to assume that you're stupid.
Yeah.
Just saying. So, guys, when are you getting your COVID shot?
I love being able to say no just to see the facial reaction of either my doctor or somebody at Walgreens.
Right. Oh, yeah.
I made an appointment for 9:30.
Okay. All right. Don't be late. Okay. Don't be late.
All right.
All right. We got a pretty good reaction to that true crime story we talked about the last week. I got another true crime story.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
We're
right.
going to talk about that. I say true crime. It is true crime technically. It's kind of dumb crime.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Oh, it's true. Absolutely true.
And it's crime.
And it's going to make you feel better about yourself in comparison to this person.
Those are the best kind.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Take this message to my brother.
Thanks for taking my call.
News, analysis, opinion.
Radio news junkie. Love every bit about it.
News Talk STL.
Francis Chick Powers.
With an inside story behind a Christmas song.
Rocking around the Christmas tree at the
She was America's first lady of song during the 1960s. That's Miss Brenda Lee. Songwriter Mr. Johnny Marks recalls how the song came to be.
I wrote it in July. I was up in Vermont, lying on a beach, and near me was a couple playing their radio and a rock record was blaring away, and it just dawned on me, the Christmas trees, the rocking around the Christmas tree. So lying there, I got my opening lines, went back to my cabin, and finally finished the song. And when I came back to New York, I went up to Decca Records and saw Milt Gabler, who was the head of artists and repertoire, who picked the songs and the artists, and said to him, I think I've got a great song for Brenda Lee. And he said, everybody's got a great song for Brenda Lee. Well, I said, please listen to the song. So he put it on his machine, listened to it. This is going to be the biggest hit Brenda Lee ever had. He called Nashville and told the producer down there, Owen Bradley, to get Brenda in the studio. I want you to record a song, Rocking Around the Christmas Tree. And after I listened to it, I said, Milt, this girl makes this song sound a lot better than the way I wrote it. And I have to thank Brenda Lee.
From the Christmas files of the musicalsoundreview.com, I'm Francis Chick Powers.
rocking around the Christmas tree in the new old-fashioned way.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the morning is brought to you by Stifel. Request a portfolio review from your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
Hey, this is Larry Connors. Make sure you're listening later today at 6 o'clock on News Talk STL for my show, Larry Connors USA. Now, back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
You get a shiver in the dark, it's raining in the park, but meantime.
All right. There's true crime and then there's dumb crime.
Yes.
I'm not sure which is more interesting, or if I'm allowed to say this, I'm not sure which is more entertaining.
And sometimes they intersect.
Yes, they do. In this case, they intersect. That's a great point.
It's a both and.
Because true crime is massive. It's one of the most popular genres of books.
Mhm.
It is the most popular genre of podcast, believe
Absolutely.
it or not.
By a mile.
Yeah, this is not even close. So I've got a true crime story for you and
Okay.
kind of some life advice.
Okay.
for
All
others,
right.
Okay. By the way, News Talk STL's new newsletter. Sign up, or you hate puppies and children. Do you hate puppies and children? No.
I
Then you
don't.
need to sign up. To
Okay,
prove it.
all right.
Sign up for News Talk STL.
Oh, wait, I already get
newsletter.
it.
There you go.
That's right, yeah.
See, you don't hate puppies and
I
children.
don't hate puppies and children.
All right. NewsTalkSTL.com. It's a great
I
newsletter.
love their little squishy faces.
Oh, yeah. And the children or the puppies?
Both.
Okay. It is free. Literally, it's a 3 or 4 minute read, and it's a lot of content you're not going to get on the air. There's some, stuff that we highlight from the air, but exclusive political cartoon from Todd Showalter. Excellent to copy and put on your social media, and of course tag us as well.
Mhm.
News Talk STL. But again, those who don't sign up for the News Talk STL newsletter hate puppies and children. Don't be that person.
Don't
I'm
be
just
them.
saying. Okay. Hey, I was told to promote that.
Yeah,
That's
that counts.
Okay, so I've got some pro tips for those considering a life of petty crime.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
I'm just here to help.
Okay, all right, yeah.
Time and location matter. That's what we're learning from this story I'm about to bring you.
Okay. All right. Time and location. Let me write that down.
Don't make the mistake that this Michigan woman has made here. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the stories that I found on this, and I found a couple of them, including from what's called MLive, which is Michigan's like statewide news service.
Okay.
None of them identify her by name, but we know that she's a 62-year-old woman.
Oh, okay. So is this a late, maybe second, third
Late
career?
bloomer, yeah, late
okay,
bloomer.
all right.
So she got caught shoplifting
Okay.
at Walmart.
So petty crime shoplifting.
Petty crime. Well, I say petty crime, but when they caught her, she had over $700 worth of merchandise that she was trying to steal.
Okay. So we're talking L.A. level petty crime.
Right.
But she kept it under 900.
Yes, she kept under 9. So she'd have been fine in San Francisco.
Yeah.
I don't think she's fine in Michigan.
Oh, right. Yeah.
They would still consider that. But here's the thing, is she decided to go shoplift from a Walmart in Livingston County, Michigan. And I don't know where that is. I just know it's in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
But she decided to try to shoplift while at the same time the Livingston County annual Shop with a Cop event was going on in that Walmart.
Oh, you got to pay attention to the signs,
right?
And yeah, you got to keep your head on a swivel. Notice the 24 probably uniforms walking around the store.
Yes, and Shop with a Cop. If you don't know, this happens around the country. It's where like kids who are from tough situations and families dealing with poverty. There's people raise money and there's cops in uniform on duty take them to wherever, in this case Walmart, and they go take them shopping and get them a couple Christmas presents and probably school supplies and that kind of stuff. So literally she walks into a Walmart that is crawling with police officers in uniform.
There are probably more police officers in that Walmart than are at the station.
Right.
At any given moment.
And so they notice, the loss prevention folks at Walmart notice that she's stealing stuff.
Oh, okay. So she's also obvious about doing it.
And so they're like, hey, officer, just heads up. If you didn't think it was dumb enough already, it gets dumber. So a Michigan State police trooper.
Mm-hmm.
Not from the university, but an actual Michigan.
Actual Michigan State police
the state of
trooper.
Michigan.
Yes. Follows her out to her vehicle.
Just walking with her.
And she's parked next to the row of police cars.
So her getaway vehicle is trapped.
She literally showed up after all the police cars parked next to each other, parked in the next spot in the parking lot, and then went in to the Walmart that's crawling with uniformed police officers and tried to steal over $700 worth of stuff.
All right. We're back up. This has to be a farce. I think she wanted to get picked up by the police. She must have. She must have wanted to get picked up by the police. Tell me, Mike. That was her plan all along.
Well, she's in jail. She's in the Livingston County jail. But here's the thing, is that one of the kind of news aggregating services I use, they actually pointed out that this actual story where somebody's caught shoplifting during a Shop with a Cop event at Walmart has happened. It happened last year about this time in Florida. And they actually went through and said that they have they've run a similar story, like literally something like 5 out of the last 7 years. All in different places.
Wow.
So somebody's like, I'm going to steal stuff. And they walk in and they're like, well, I mean, there's cops everywhere, but they're never going to notice.
They're probably they're here for coffee and donuts.
Right.
Walmart's a big place. They won't. Yeah. I can get through this.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a professional.
So I'm just saying, if you want to take up a life of petty crime, don't do what she did. I'm just here to help.
Look out. I'm in place.
Speaking of crime, by the way, Gabe Gore's been on the job now, replacing what's her face,
Kim
Gardner.
Yeah,
I'm trying to forget her.
Yeah.
Is the city safer? We'll talk about the progress just ahead.
Are you looking for an awesome space to have an incredible event this season, this holiday season, or just for any reason whatsoever? Your one-stop shop is View 17. That's VUE17.com, VUE17.com. Ultra-modern media conference and event center. You can have just about any event you can dream up there. It's on the 17th floor in the heart of the county of St. Louis. Check them out today. You will be impressed, and so will your guests. VUE17.com, view17.com.
Contact Seavers JCB now to take advantage of Section 179 of the IRS tax code that may entitle you to deduct the full price of qualifying equipment purchased or financed during 2023. Add to that JCB's incredible end-of-the-year financing opportunities, cash incentives, and rebates. There's never been a better time to own a JCB. Call Seavers JCB before year-end tax savings and financing offers expire, or visit online at seaversjcb.com.
Imagine a world where hands reach out to help one another and to help our first responders. Did you know that a recent study by Western Connecticut State University reveals that with each hour spent volunteering, your own happiness goes up by 16%? If you've ever wanted to be the spark, the change maker, the time is now. Volunteer a few hours with the David Dorn Foundation and ignite a new day for police officers and first responders. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer. We're waiting to hear from you.
Hey, it's Tony Colombo for my friends at A Plus Plumbing and Drain, and they truly are our friends because they have done it all at our house over the years, from putting in a new faucet to installing a whole new bathroom from scratch. The team at A Plus has always done great work for a great price. A Plus Plumbing and Drain is a local, family-owned business that can take care of all your plumbing needs and specializes in new construction and home renovation. Call A Plus for your next project at 636-288-7126 or through Facebook at A Plus Plumbing and Drain.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefontaine, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Former President Trump is firing back as President Biden hypes the supposed dangers to democracy posed by Mr. Trump and the grassroots MAGA movement.
In what was described as a town hall that only included questions by Sean Hannity on Fox News Channel, former President Donald Trump was asked if he would promise to never abuse power as retribution against anybody if reelected. Trump responded, except on day one. He says he would close the border and drill for oil, and that, quote, after that, he's not a dictator, unquote. Hannity asked if he would break the law and use the government to go after people. Trump responded, you mean like they're using right now. Trump criticized Biden on cumulative inflation, a U.S. border policy, and claimed he was an environmentalist, at the same time referring to fossil fuels as liquid gold. He also took a shot at fellow Republican candidate Ron DeSantis on the minimum age for Social Security. Trump has promised to prosecute Biden if he wins. Trump has previously talked about targeting his rivals and referred to them as vermin. I'm Jennifer King.
And tonight it's the fourth GOP presidential candidates debate, with DeSantis and Haley, Ramaswamy and Christie taking to the stage. Virulent anti-Semitism has exploded on the campuses of many American colleges and universities, including some of the elite schools. It's capturing the attention of Congress, where Republican Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is sounding the alarm.
Jewish students are facing sustained attacks from students and professors who are openly propagandizing terror. And why? Merely because these Jewish students exist.
Lawmakers have heard from some of those Jewish students who have testified of the anti-Semitism they're having to endure since the deadly Hamas attack on Israel. Hatred of Jewish people has surged worldwide since the terror attack. On Wall Street, Dow futures are up 38 points. NASDAQ futures ahead 26. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Here's something for all you gentlemen that haven't gotten your special someone a holiday gift yet. This Christmas, Pajamagram has your back with a deluxe gift set for that special lady in your life. This gift set includes the smooth satin nightgown and robe, plus a free satin eye mask, all wrapped in an elegant satin keepsake bag. That's 4 gifts delivered right to your door, ready to go under the tree. She'll love it. And what about the other wonderful women you'd love to spoil this holiday season? Whether it's your wife, sister, daughter, or your mom, Pajamagram has you covered. Go to Pajamagram.com and see all they have to offer, including luxurious velvet sets, cozy signature fleece sets, matching couple and family sets, and so much more. Make your gift even more special by adding a name or monogram to any of their personalized pajamas. Everyone loves pajamas, and a Pajamagram is the perfect way to treat someone to a little relaxation. Visit Pajamagram.com today.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
When it's important to you,
Great you're talking about this.
it's on News Talk STL.
I would give Joe Biden an F.
People in this country, they want accountability. He does not think independently. He is not acting in this country's best interest.
We are funding both sides of this war now.
Something needs to be done about it.
We're all in the same struggle of middle-class America.
News, analysis, opinion.
Joe Biden continues to insult half the country.
1019 and 94.1.
I think Biden and just about every American politician has blood on their hands.
News Talk STL. This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Rodney and Jen Wallner and the entire Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. Call them today at 314-810-SOLD. 314-810-SOLD.
And you know, not a lot of people are talking about that real estate transaction right now. It's the holidays. You're focused on electronics and traveling to grandma's, but this might be the time that you start getting that sort of head start on what you need to do in 2024, especially if that involves buying or selling your home. You need to call my friends Rodney and Jen Wallner. Mike Ferguson here for the Wallner home selling team at Berkshire Hathaway. And the reason for that, first of all, with fewer people talking about real estate, this might be the right time to get in as an opportunity to make that change that you need to make. Upsizing, downsizing, moving closer to, your job or a different school district, whatever it is. Rodney and Jen are licensed in both Missouri and Illinois, which not a lot of real estate professionals are. They also offer flexible commission plans to meet your needs. But here's the thing. They've got so many pre-approved buyers, so many people ready to buy, ready to move right now, that they guarantee you're going to get an offer. Guarantee it. Now, here's the thing. You call Rodney and Jen at 314-810-SOLD today, and that's the number I call when I talk to Rodney and Jen. It's literally going to their cell phone, 314-810-SOLD. Even if you're not ready to make a move until after the first of the year, talk to them today. Get the advice. Get their impression. And what you're going to find is a couple that is not only immensely good at what they do. These are top professionals. They sell upwards of 15 times more homes than your typical real estate agent in St. Louis. And there's a reason for that. They know the market. They know the city. They're just very good at what they do. They fight hard for the people they serve. But what you're also going to find is that these are honest, ethical people that you want to do business with because you know your family is in good hands. That's why you want to talk to Rodney and Jen. 314-810-SOLD. Call the Wallner home selling team right now. Hey, no obligation. You make a change. You decide to go a different direction. No big deal whatsoever. No long-term commitment. 314-810-SOLD. Once again, 314-810-SOLD.
St. Louis's new choice for conservative talk. Live and local.
I need to know what's going on in my city.
News Talk STL. This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com. Mike Ferguson.
You play ball like a girl!
Gabe Pfeiffer.
I triple dog dare you!
Get up! Can't you hear the alarm?
Get up, St. Louis.
So it's time to get out of bed. Pour yourself the greatest cup of Kofifi the world has ever seen. Rise up with one voice. Drain the swamp and take back our country. Today's the day we're going to do it, and it's time to do it right now, believe me.
Mike Ferguson in the Morning on News Talk STL.
Get up! This is your cousin
I just want to point out I put something extra in my Kofifi dance right
Yeah,
there.
yeah, you moving, man.
I'm still really bad at dancing. I put a little extra into it.
That's the best
So
part
it's a
of
little
it.
special treat for you people watch this on video.
Maybe
All right.
you need dark roast. Maybe we'll toss in some dark roast unannounced on you just to see if that makes a difference.
Oh, my goodness. Okay, there's progress being made by the one anti-criminal citywide official in the city. Can Gabe Gore maintain the progress? But here's the thing. Is the city actually safer yet? He's been on the job 6 months. Do you feel like the city is actually safer?
Well,
right. Now that's not the same question as, is it his fault?
Right.
Totally
Those are
different
different
thing.
questions, yes.
So let's get into that here in just a moment. By the way, some St. Louis County politicians are drawing the line, guys.
Mm-hmm.
They want to overspend less than Sam Page wants to overspend.
Okay, that's something.
That's something.
Okay,
yeah.
I'll,
All right,
I'll take it.
720. By the way, and this is not the topic. I just want to point this out. I saw a couple headlines.
Yeah.
Apparently, Liz Cheney is so fed up with Donald Trump that she has made it clear that she is thinking about launching her own presidential campaign.
Whoa! Wow, man, that's amazing. I want to see what that exploratory committee looks like.
Right, and she's gonna if this happens, rumor has it she's going to hold her first rally at the meeting room in the buffet restaurant.
Okay, all right, yes, that little room in the back there.
Exactly. Okay. Circuit Attorney Gabe Gore has been on the job 6 months now. He gave kind of a progress report to media yesterday.
Okay.
And it's weird because it seems like he's been in there longer, but it's only been 6 months.
Yeah, really. Maybe because he's as best I can tell, he's doing a pretty good job in comparison to his predecessor, for sure.
Well, and I mentioned during the news roundup that when you look at the 6 months he's been in office, and you compare that to the 6 months a year ago when Kimberly Gardner was still in that position,
right?
The prosecution of crime has gone up 45%.
Oh my gosh!
Okay,
just in there.
But
just
here's
there.
the thing, though. Remember,
right.
the first several weeks, you got a guy who was dropped in there and had to figure out the mess.
Yeah. He had to sift through
Right.
all of the files. He had to hire staff to actually work anything.
Right.
Because that entire office had been decimated.
Completely decimated. He hired back several people. And unlike Kimberly Gardner, he accepted the offer of help from the Missouri Attorney General's office, who says, let us send you prosecuting attorneys. We will loan them to you.
Right.
He accepted help from other prosecuting attorney's office to come in and take cases. There were even some private law firms that said, you know what, we'll pro bono and loan an attorney out or two for different kinds of cases. So he's had all of this help, and they have really cut into the number of outstanding cases. Now, that doesn't mean they've gotten a bunch of convictions. I mean, there are times where they've had to dismiss because, first of all, the Kimberly Gardner's office did such a bad job with him.
Yep.
Or there were guilty pleas.
Lack of evidence.
Or, they've refiled charges. So they're still cleaning up the mess.
Sure.
Okay, but the bottom line is he's making progress.
Yeah, that's good.
Without a doubt. So here's where we're at. When he started 6 months ago, just homicide cases on the backlog. We're not even talking about the ones that were actively being prosecuted because there weren't that many. But his backlog of actual homicide cases was 250.
Oof. Oh my gosh,
250. Now, over the last 6 months, they've disposed of about over 20% of those, 53%. Now,
just in 6 months.
Just in 6 months.
Okay.
That means they were tried one way or the other, whether you got a conviction or not. They were actually tried, or they were dismissed, or there was a guilty plea.
Right.
So 20% of those. And Gabe Gore is pointing out, he says, homicide cases aren't like you're going through the trespassing cases, okay?
Right.
This isn't like the parking ticket cases.
Yeah, these are solid cases.
Right. And so he is going to the city, and he is saying, excuse me, I'm having my protein cookie right now. I got a little... and so he's going to the city saying, I need more resources. I need a bigger budget. We have to hire more attorneys because at some point, every other office, county prosecuting office, all the others are going to say, hey,
we need our people back.
We need our people back.
Yes.
The private law firms are like, hey, we're going to have to start charging for this, that kind of stuff.
All that was a stopgap measure.
Right. The Attorney General's office will probably leave people on loan for quite a while or swap them out or constantly help. But the bottom line is that Gabe Gore is saying, I need more prosecutors to get caught up and to keep caught up on this. So he has still got a massive backlog of hundreds of cases.
Yeah, it sounds like the prosecutor's office has a similar situation as basically every other aspect within the whole public safety domain in the city, in that he is under-resourced in terms of money and certainly in terms of people.
Yeah, he says, I'm quoting here in the article from Channel 4, he said, we don't have the capacity within this office to handle 250 homicides. That's more than 100% of typically what's pending. So you're looking at a massive number of cases. Even U.S. attorneys are alone. But they're making a mad dash to try to get caught up on hundreds and hundreds of violent crime cases that Kimberly Gardner would not prosecute. Kimberly Gardner was incompetent in managing her office, and so that's led to all of this. 49 attorneys are in the office right now. I mean, that seems like a lot.
It seems like, yeah.
But he's in conversations with the Board of Aldermen and Mayor Tishara Jones to get funding to get more. The backlog isn't just homicide. They've also got a warrant office. There are 6,700 pending warrants.
Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a little behind,
Right.
on warrant processing.
So they're starting with serious felonies,
Mhm.
violent felonies. We're talking, property crimes like robberies. We're talking about, violent crimes like rapes and
Mhm.
assault. And that's where they're starting.
Yes.
So, yes, if you've got a trespassing case out there that you're mad that somebody, they'll eventually get to it, but that's not their priority.
It's down on
Right.
the list a little bit.
Yeah. So the number of pending cases, 6,700 is where he started. Excuse me.
Okay.
He's now at around 4,200.
Oh, wow.
So he's made
6
a huge
months.
he's
Man.
made a huge difference,
Mhm.
but he says it's going to be the end of the first quarter of 2024, so March or April, before they think they can get caught up on all of the warrants.
That makes sense.
Right. And so there's a lot of progress being made, and Gabe Gore clearly is living up to the expectations that we had of him.
Yeah. We when he first got in, we were saying, okay, well, how much time are we going to give him to clean up this mess because it's a huge deal.
Right.
Well, we're going to keep an eye on him and get kind of periodic updates from. I think we've been true to that pledge on our part, and I think Gabe Gore has been true to his pledge to clean up that mess on his part because he's been doing a bang up job as far as I can tell.
Yeah. And but the bottom line is he is still honestly saying, I still can't get through all of these. I think we're now fully grasping the damage to the city and the region that Kimberly Gardner did.
Oh, yeah, that scar is deep.
Very bad. And he may never be able to fully recover from that because at some point the courts are not going to have a choice but to dismiss more cases for a lack of prosecution that have been around for years.
Yeah.
And that's just what's going to happen.
And how long is his tenure, by the way? Because
he's appointed, so he either has to run for election or just wait till somebody else gets elected.
Right. So when's the election?
That is, I think, is that this coming year, or is that? I think that's a 2024 or 2025 election? I have to look that
I'm
up.
not sure.
But it's soon.
It's relatively soon.
Yeah. So he's basically got he's got a temporary post as far as he's concerned.
Right.
And he's trying to do the best he can with the time he's got.
Right.
Also.
And so this has been imposed on the city government.
Mm-hmm.
The mayor, the board of aldermen, the previous circuit attorney, they did not want state help.
They resisted every single aspect of this that's been helping.
Well, they refused it.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, when Kimberly Gardner was up against the wall and she could not escape, then she quit, and that allowed the governor to appoint Gabe Gore.
Yeah.
And remember, Kimberly Gardner tried to appoint Wesley Bell to take over her office, even though it's totally illegal. She handwrote a thing saying, I appoint Wesley Bell, the interim director, or whatever. And the courts were like, yeah, that's not how this works.
No, we don't work under the table.
No, we don't do that. And by the way, he doesn't live in the city, and you don't get to appoint the person to replace you. It's just not how it works.
Yeah.
That was just stupid.
Yeah, now it was definitely a backdoor way of doing it by creating out of whole cloth an appointed position within the office so that whoever even was appointed, he would be the kind of the de facto leader. It was such a grimy sort of situation there. I hate that.
Yeah. So the bottom line is that the circuit attorney's office, we have seen significant improvements.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
there's a lot of reason to be hopeful that we are going to get to a point in the city where crime is actually prosecuted.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, before we go into the information segment here, is the city safer?
I don't think it is yet.
I don't believe it is either.
I don't believe so.
Yeah. Now, we're still seeing rampant crime, the smash and grabs. We're still seeing, shootings. I don't think the message is fully across to the criminals that they're going to be prosecuted. The police are still under-resourced. They're still short of people. At least now the police know that if they've got a serious case, that it's going to get prioritized and there's going to be an effort to prosecute it in the circuit attorney's office. So that's good. But if you're still looking at that medium and lower level crime, like the car smash and grab, my daughter, I had dinner with my daughter last night. She was with some of her friends when like 8 or 9 of them got hit with smash and grabs.
Right.
And she said they were so mad at the police officers because the officers they're like, we'll take some pictures, but we're not even going to. and they had to like shame them into filing a report.
Oh, wow.
I said, well, Amber, I said, these guys they don't have enough resources to catch murderers. She's like, well, if they weren't going to do anything, we told them just leave, and so she was irritated with them. And
I mean,
I get
in
it.
the moment you can
I
kind of
get
see it, but yeah.
I said, but I said these guys, I said they can't get their armed robbers prosecuted, and so she said, but you call the police because something happened. You expect them to come out.
You expect them to behave a certain way.
Yeah,
but
and I said, at the very least, and she said they ended up writing reports for everybody.
Sure.
Because you just say, listen, I need this for my insurance company.
Right, exactly.
But for the cops, I mean, I'm sure this is like, come on, I got to deal with this. Just, But
yeah,
still.
I mean, it's more paperwork, and it must be demoralizing as a cop.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely demoralizing. It's like, okay, here I'm reduced to this. Just I'm writing a report that I know is useless.
Right.
I'm not going to catch any bad guys today.
No, you're not going to catch them.
It's like when the kid's coming up out of school and he's like, you know what, I'm going to be a police officer. You want to catch bad guys. That's what you want to protect people. And if your situation is such that you just can't do it, it's like I can't imagine being in that position.
Right.
So, we have a compound fracture in our public safety situation. The prosecuting office is just one of those fractures. You got to shore up the other ones before you can stand on that leg.
Yeah, I mean, we're just still not at a point where St. Louis City is safe.
No, we're not.
I mean, I'm still the position. I'm glad I don't work there. At night, I've just made the decision. It's just not worth it to go in.
No, it's not.
My wife says, "Hey, there's this event. Let's go." And I see it's downtown at night. I skip it.
Pass.
It's for a great cause. It's a good thing. Great. Then if you want to send them a check, let's do that. But it's still St. Louis City is still uninvestable.
Mm-hmm.
And now you can blame Kimberly Gardner, but as long as the Board of Aldermen and the mayor resist the prosecution, which is where we're at right now, they've got the decision. They'll decide whether we're any more investable in the city or not, and I don't think it is.
This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, 99.1 HD3 and newstalkstl.com. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
On the next
Larry Connors, USA.
The Israeli plan to pump Mediterranean seawater into the Hamas tunnels. Can it really work? Will it be effective?
Larry Connors, USA. Now, weeknights 6 until 8 on News Talk STL.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with Clayman Group, KLAMEN Group.com, where we buy houses direct and as-is condition with no middleman involved. I recently bought a house from somebody that was embarrassed to let me in the door. There was stuff all over the place, and the entire house smelled like smoke. However, we were definitely able to see the potential. We gave them a great cash offer that they were very happy with. So if you have a house that isn't in the best shape, maybe in some disrepair, we're interested in making you an as-is cash offer. Please reach out today, KLAMEN Group.com.
Freedom isn't just a word. It should be a way of life for all Missourians. Wouldn't it be wonderful to live in a state where you're free from excessive taxes, regulations, and corporate handouts, and free to send your children to the school of your choice? That's why we at the Show Me Institute put together our 2023 Missouri Blueprint, a roadmap on how the state can progress to a bright future. The blueprint covers policy ideas from taxes to government transparency, from education to health care, and more. Our vision is for Missouri to be a place where entrepreneurs can pursue their dreams. Parents are free to direct the education of their children, and a growing economy provides opportunities for all. Critical to achieving this vision is a government that understands the value of freedom in the lives and future of our people. Check out our 2023 Missouri Blueprint, moving Missouri forward at showmeinstitute.org. The Show Me Minute has been brought to you by Show Me Institute and Show Me Opportunity.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss as part of our lineup every week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. You can hear Doug and Safe Money Radio 3 times every weekend on News Talk STL. And in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com. What else do our listeners need to know, Doug?
Simply put, I focus on helping pre-retirees and retirees build, preserve, and protect retirement assets, and I've been helping my clients solve their insurance and financial needs for the past 33 years. I also strive to educate my clients on how to prepare for retirement, minimize the impact of market volatility on their assets, and deal with the challenges of increased longevity. Call me today at 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7200. 7233.
Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP, member FINRA and SIPC.
This is 101.9 and 94.1.
Female millennial Trump supporter. I listen to it like every day. Like, seriously, you get it.
News Talk STL.
Hello, morning people. Tony Colombo and Katie Fitzpatrick here.
Thanks for listening to Mike Ferguson in the morning here on News Talk STL. And don't forget to join us today at 2 for Colombo and Katie.
See you then. The St. Louis County government actually trims back a spending plan. They haven't trimmed it back enough, but we'll take what we can get.
Yeah,
I'll
absolutely.
explain what's going on here in just a moment. Chuck Schumer leads the latest attack on your human right to self-defense. 7:35, we're going to talk about how seriously we should take this latest threat. All right, I know this is like totally irrelevant to all the news here.
Yeah.
We're hoping to be in our new studio maybe early next week, like the permanent new News Talk STL studio, which is going to be really cool. I mean, like our last one, if you come to the office building that we're in, you can you can walk down the hall and you'll be able to watch us doing the show and everything. So that's all pretty cool. But we're going to have the cameras in there as well, so it's going to look really cool. If you're watching this right now, we're in what's going to be our backup studio. It's in one of our production studios.
Little
mini spot here. But here's the thing: is the way this is laid out. Like I look across where Stella is, and I see the computer. He's got the live stream up.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like completely vanity on my part.
Yes.
Okay. People are like, man, Mike, do you get dressed in the dark? Yes, I actually do. at 2 o'clock in the morning, I actually do.
You
and
kind of have to.
I just looked over there, and I'm like, I look like a mess.
Do you?
Right now. And I'm like, I got to take my headphone off and try to get the, get it to where I don't look like I just am coming in from a night having a bender. So if you want to see what I'm talking about, just go at Rumble or Facebook or Twitter, and you can watch our video streams there. Okay, the situation with St. Louis County Council. Okay, so I'm going to appreciate what there is to appreciate. Remember, we're talking about a $40-some million budget shortfall that they are fretting, and they have been for months. Now, remember, this is after they pushed through a successful increase on the recreational marijuana tax, which is millions of extra dollars. And then, of course, 97% of homes in St. Louis County have been hit with a significant increase in the assessment.
Yes.
So we're paying more in property taxes just because the county government says, suddenly your home's worth a lot more. You're going to have to pay us more, even without raising the tax rate. When they just arbitrarily change the number that they say the house is worth, they raise the tax bill.
Right.
So they're taking in more revenue. So here's where we're at. The St. Louis County Council this week basically said, here's our proposal for the 2024 spending plan, which has to be in place by the end of the month. It cuts $14 million out of Sam Page's requested budget. Okay? So Sam Page wanted to spend, they're suggesting $580 million for the county.
Okay.
Now, keep in mind, this is a county that's losing population.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money. And it's really their difference. $14 million is a lot of money, but it's only like a 2.5% difference between Sam Page's district and theirs. But
when you put it in those terms, Mike, it's like, oh.
But here's the thing is that $14 million reduction in the proposal makes a difference between a $40-some million budget shortfall, meaning we're going to spend $41 million more than we're taking in revenue.
Jeez.
So it's a $40 million deficit brought down to about $27 million.
Okay. That's significant.
That is significant. But what it still means is that they're overspending by $27
million, yes.
Okay. So the what they're looking at here is they're looking at cutting over $100,000 from the public administrator's office. Okay. Cutting the budget of the prosecuting attorney by over $770,000, but specifically that is not allowing them to buy new vehicles. You got to make do with your old cars.
Right.
Okay, so there's some cuts there. The county executive's office, they're cutting almost $700,000 out of. Good. County counselor's office, the city attorney or county attorneys, $570,000 in cuts. Department of Administration, $1.6 million in cuts. Now we're talking, people.
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, so with the county police, now they're technically speaking, they're cutting $718,000 out of the police budget.
Mm-hmm.
However, they're taking that $718,000 and then they're spending that on the shot spotter technology to detect gunshots in different areas.
Okay.
So they basically taken it out of one budget and put it back into another bucket, saying that this is law enforcement related. I'd rather spend that money on law enforcement officers and equipment.
Absolutely. But yeah, I mean, I can see though where using the technology like that would get you the type of people that you don't want in your neighborhood.
Right.
Which is fine. That's
right.
fine.
Public Works, $2.1 million in cuts. That was going to sting. I mean, Public Works is one of the legitimate functions of a county government.
Yes.
I mean, that's talking about your roads. That's talking about your sewers. That's talking about your stuff like that. You know?
Now, if they're pulling it out of the office that authorizes permits to do work in your own house, I'm fine with it.
Oh yeah.
I just got a note about all the things I have to change in my proposal so I can actually do work in my house.
So you can be allowed to improve your own house.
Yes.
Which, by the way, you're going to have to pay a commission to the county.
Yes.
And probably your city, too.
Yes. They charge on a sliding scale according to the amount of money you plan on spending on the job.
Right. So the more you spend, the more the government gets, even though they had nothing to do with improving your home. You get taxed on is the ultimate disincentive.
Yes, absolutely.
So if there's anything that's done in cash and you don't have to report it, you're going to save yourself money. Do what you will with that information.
FYI.
Department of Revenue, $900,000 in cuts. General Revenue, over $6 million in cuts. Health Fund, $8.2 million. I'm fine with that. That's a massive cut, and I'm good with that. Because the health department has shown itself to be political. They are spending millions of dollars on marketing, and they literally had a marketing deal just to shore up Sam Page's image when he was hurting people.
We broke that story,
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
So $8.2 million there. So the yearly budget deficit, again, 41-ish million to 26, 27 million. So they still have $27 million they should be cutting, but
that's better. But
that's not what's going to happen. They're still going to run a budget deficit. And remember, this is, again, despite the tax increase on the recreational marijuana, it's going to generate a few $1 million at least. And this doesn't involve the not tapping into the reserve fund. And they're not even talking about the Rams and the NFL settlement money.
Right.
So the money is there if they can agree on the best way to do that. You could take some of those funds, make investments maybe in the reserve, and generate revenue from that.
Right, yeah.
So
absolutely.
there are ways to do this, but the bottom line is that we will take a baby step in the right direction, so I'm not going to slam them too hard because they're at least looking to cut from what Sam Page wants, but we're still looking at increases. Now, I will say this right here. The St. Louis County Council made it clear because Sam Page wanted his budget. He wanted a property tax increase, a rate increase.
Oh, wow.
And with this, they're saying, no, we're not going to do a rate increase. We're still going to pay more because the assessments went up, but the assessments could have gone up and the rate went up, which is what Sam Page wanted to do, and then he would have wondered why more people left the county.
Right.
Now, that still may happen, but this is from Sam Page's complete irresponsibility to the county council's mild irresponsibility.
Yeah.
All right. Just ahead here, Chuck Schumer, other hard leftists, they will not back off in trying to take away your Second Amendment rights. Our friends from the American Firearms Association gives us the update at 7:35.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
Ackerman Toyota has the 2024 models. You're going to be impressed. Check them out in person at Ackerman Toyota, Hampton and Interstate 44. In fact, you've got to see the 2024 Toyota Sequoia. Very impressive. This is the time to buy and get top dollar for your vehicle. Looking for pre-owned? Ackerman Toyota can also help you. Ackerman Toyota at Hampton and 44. AckermanToyota.com. Ackerman Toyota for life.
This is Larry Connor's commentary on News Talk STL.
If you believe Democrats like Liz Cheney, I'm sorry, she claims to be a Republican, the election of Donald Trump would be bad for the Republic and lead to a dictatorship. Oh, really, Liz Cheney, who served on the January 6th committee, which basically ignored our Constitution, jailing people just because they happen to be in the Capitol? You know, you talk about Trump, you're going to pay a price one way or the other. Actor Kelsey Grammer was talking to British Broadcasting about his new Frasier reboot, and he was asked by the host, "Are you still a Trump supporter?" He said, "I am." Well, immediately Paramount said, "Okay, interview over. We're not going to talk about it anymore." And then Liz Cheney is out talking to all the state-controlled media about her new book, pointing out that Donald Trump is not a conservative. He's not been a Republican very long. In fact, I want to say that I've been a Republican longer than Donald Trump has been spray tanning. Cute little joke, Liz. But the joke that you're a conservative and that you would defend the Constitution, that's the joke I'm not going to laugh about, because we need to protect our republic.
Get more Larry Connors on Larry Connors USA.
Tonight at 6 on News Talk STL.
This is Christina Straight with Straight Realty reminding you why pay more than $4. In 2003, we had a dream to start a real estate company that would revolutionize the real estate market. Now, 20 years later, after navigating through the many markets' ups and downs, we know exactly how to help you in this challenging time. I'm Christina Straight, owner of Straight Realty. Don't give away your hard-earned equity. Give us a call today, 314-441-4444, 314-441-all-4s. And remember, why pay more than $4?
Straight Realty is a licensed broker in the state of Missouri.
Dealing with storm damage? Don't panic. Eureka Contracting and Roofing is here to help. With the recent storms, they understand it can be overwhelming. Remember, you don't have to rush into signing with the first door-to-door salesman. Don't let pushy sales tactics force you into a contract you're not comfortable with. Before making decisions, take a moment. Give the folks at Eureka Contracting and Roofing a call like I did for a no-pressure inspection. They'll assess the damage, determine if it's insurable. If it is, they'll guide you through the insurance process, and your only out-of-pocket expense will be your deductible. Eureka Contracting and Roofing, 636-938-ROOF, eurekacontracting.com.
Get charged up on the truth. Power Punch with Larry Behrens.
Everyone's talking about the $6 billion Joe Biden sent to Iran just about a month ago. As well they should be. But did you know he has opened up the money flow to Tehran for well over a year? He doesn't want to talk about it, but we will.
Power Punch with Larry Behrens. Saturday afternoons at 4 on News Talk STL.
Get more Power Punch at powertofuture.com.
This is what's happening.
I've said I'm willing to vote for impeachment. We have specific questions for Biden family members and people associated with the Biden family members.
101.9 and 94.1.
It's not all kumbaya, but it's straightforward.
News Talk STL.
Hey everyone, this is State Senator Nick Schroer. I am the host of Stand and Fight every Sunday night. Tune in to us at 8 p.m. Right now, let's hear more of Mike Ferguson in the Morning Show here on News Talk STL.
You know, the left just won't take the L in the battle over the Second Amendment and our right to self-defense. They just will not give up. They will, in their mind, continue until we are disarmed. So the Second Amendment either is understood to mean something other than what it is, or that they can actually eradicate it. And I think if you took a vote with people on the left, they would probably vote to eliminate the Second Amendment from the Bill of Rights.
They would.
I really think they would.
Absolutely.
All right, News Talk STL's book club. It's where smart people shop for Christmas. You're smart, right? So you should want to shop at the News Talk STL book club.
Yes, absolutely. And you should help your friends and your family become more smart.
News Talk, more smart. If you want to be more smarter, go to newstalkstl.com and click on the news and more tab.
Got to make them more smart.
That's right.
And less dumb.
That's
less
right.
dumb.
Oh, my goodness. Look at news and more, and then look for book club. We're going to go ahead and add a thesaurus and dictionary in there as well.
I think we should have a T-shirt. Be more smart and less dumb.
Oh, my gosh. All right. Chuck Schumer this week. He says Congress going to deal with and debate a full-on assault weapons ban. Now joined by Aaron Dorr from the American Firearms Association. Aaron is more smarter than the average bear out there.
He's definitely more smart.
Aaron, good to talk to you again. Let me get your reaction to this announcement that Senator Chucky Schumer had to say. Here was his bold announcement that he made this week.
I will come to the floor to try and pass the assault weapons ban because right now, the scourge of gun violence in America is a national crisis.
Okay, these are talking points we've heard before, Aaron, but now, obviously they have a president who would sign it. They've got a Senate that is slightly Democratic majority, and also you've got a House where the Republicans are continuing to lose their tiny, tiny majority that they've got, and they can't keep some of the Republicans in line anyway. So how seriously should we actually take this round of their threat to our Second Amendment rights?
Well, good morning, guys. Yeah, I think when it comes to this particular fight, which is going to probably take place today on Capitol Hill, this is going to be a unanimous consent motion. So he has to have every senator, even the Republican senators, agree to put this bill on the floor for a vote today. Today should not be too hard to shut this bill down. In the meantime, folks can take action, help us kill the bill at stopawb for assault weapons ban, stopawb.com. But the real threat here is that the left is not going away on this at all. And what they're doing with votes like what we're going to see today is figuring out which Republicans in particular are weakest on this issue. They're figuring out who to go to next time after a, God forbid, a mass shooting to put more pressure on them the next time. They're always building pressure for the next vote. And we've got to put pressure back on them today at stopawb.com.
Morning, Aaron. Gabe Pfeiffer here. So, Are any of their arguments different? Are they trying any new tactics, or is this pretty much the same old hat, and we just have to be prepared to
wear us down,
Yeah, it's the same old thing. I mean, these people are tyrants, absolute tyrants, and their goal is a disarmed America where we have no ability to hold our own government in check. They see the Venezuelas, they see the Chinas of the world, and they want American citizens to be that helpless. That is their goal. It's not about stopping crime. If it was, they'd prosecute criminals. This is about making serfs out of the American people, and it's always been their primary goal.
Right, and the thing is that Chuck Schumer and the others, will talk about the scourge of gun violence. They'll talk about the violence in the big cities, and they'll roll out violent crime numbers and all of that sort of thing. So they're making the same emotional appeal they've made for a long time. But what doesn't seem to activate as many people as I'd like to see, Aaron, is, first of all, the plain language of the Second Amendment. Secondly, the Supreme Court has ruled in recent years on Second Amendment case after Second Amendment case after Second Amendment case, and all that's happened is that the left has responded with basically, F you, we're going to pass laws that are clearly unconstitutional because we're passing laws that are almost carbon copies of other laws that were struck down. And so when this happens, I mean, we look at the state of Illinois right here, right in the News Talk STL listening area. The law that they're passing is certain to get struck down, and almost no one is complying with it right now. But there is a risk of it creating chaos and fear within Illinois communities.
Yeah, that's the bottom line. They're never going to quit. They don't care about the law, the Constitution, the Supreme Court, the Bruin decision, nothing. And so your audience, anybody else who cares about freedom, we have to rise up every time this comes up and crush this on the floor in the Congress, because they're not going to quit. This is their number one goal now when it comes to gun owners, is to take away our AR-15s, similar firearms, all our magazines. And for folks who believe it's some kind of an academic argument and all they have to do is say, well, Bruin says you can't do this, or the Supreme Court says you can't do this, they don't care about that. These people are literally tyrants, and their goal is to disarm the American people. So we must fight back each time this comes up.
Okay, let's talk about the most effective ways long-term to fight back. Obviously, when you got this Illinois unconstitutional law, multiple lawsuits are challenging it, probably going to end up in the front of the U.S. Supreme Court, but that could be a year or two down the road, to your point. Long-term, how do we try to get out ahead of this? Because it seems like the left and they just simply file legislation. They always seem to be having us try to catch up and block, so we're almost always on defense. Is there a way for us to go on offense to affirmatively enshrine the rights that we already have and put them on defense at some point?
Well, I think what Missouri did with SAFA legislation 2 years ago was an example of doing that. Gun voters need to make sure their Republican lawmakers in the state level or in Congress are actually acting like Republicans and are fighting to expand our gun rights in Congress as we fight to secure our gun rights in the courts. So often, like you said, we play defense. The Democrats file the most horrific gun control bills around, and our side so often tries to play catch up. So if you're a gun voter, you have to insist that your lawmakers locally and federally do their job and file bills and pass bills to stop this before it gets off the ground.
Aaron, one of the latest boogeymen of the left, as far as gun rights goes, is these ghost guns, right? The idea that you could 3D print maybe an AR lower or something like that, and it's it's got no serial number. What's the primary way to discuss quote unquote ghost guns with the people who may not know much about that?
Well, every accessory is the boogeyman of the day when it comes to the radical left. And their point is always to get us scared about how criminals are going to use these accessories to carry out criminal actions. Never forget the biggest threat to citizens across the globe for the last couple hundred years has been governments. Individual criminals do dreadful things. No question about that, but it's been governments throughout history who are the biggest threat to our freedoms and liberties. And so when the government comes along and says, you can't own this, you can't have that, that should be a red alert for all of us to know this is the kind of government our founders warned us about. When they go tyrannical, we have to see that for what it is. That's what this is. It's a tyrannical push to disarm the American people.
We're visiting with Aaron Dorr from the American Firearms Association, which there is a Missouri affiliate, the Missouri Firearms Coalition, as well. We're going to give out all that website and social media information here in just a moment. Okay, so you touched on, our local lawmakers, state lawmakers. Obviously, we're heading into an election year. There are going to be a lot of candidates or a lot of incumbents, Aaron, who are going to want to kind of shy away from the Second Amendment and the gun issues. What's the message we need to have to them as they're running for whether it's state legislature, Congress, or whatever the case is? I mean, we need to make sure that the Second Amendment is a winning issue.
In Missouri, it certainly is. And so if you live in Missouri and care about gun rights, get involved with the Missouri Firearms Coalition. We focus extensively on the elections every 2 years during the primaries to make sure that voters know which Republicans in particular are actually going to fight for gun rights and who just talks the talk at election time. Same thing for our national organization, the American Firearms Association. We vet these candidates. We expose bad candidates at election time. And you have to demand that they actually do more than just talk the talk. You have to get them on the record and say, if I vote for you, what will you do for me in Springfield, in Jefferson City, in Washington, D.C.? Because having guys that simply say, yep, I'm pro-gun, that literally means nothing. We need folks in office who will fight for gun rights. We vet candidates to find them every 2 years. Looking forward to it again as we approach 2024.
Okay, so Aaron, let's first of all give out that website that you set up regarding the federal assault weapons ban and pushing back against that. And then let's go ahead and give out that contact information for the Firearms Coalitions Associations.
Sure, it's stopawb.com. That's your petition to stop today's vote on the so-called assault weapons ban, stopawb.com. Our national organization is the American Firearms Association. Find us on social media or online. And here in Missouri, MissouriFirearmsCoalition.org.
All right, Aaron Dorr from American Firearms Association. Hey, man, appreciate you giving us the update on this. I always want to keep this on people's radar, even though the talking points generally, let's be honest, the talking points don't generally change. But I always want to make sure people understand they aren't giving up. That means we cannot back down because the threat to our freedoms and everything that is dependent upon those just won't go away. And if anything, the left continues to try to amp up, whether it's more boldly or more sneaky ways to eradicate our fundamental freedoms.
You said it. You said it great, Mike. Thanks a lot for the time.
You got it. We'll talk to you again soon, my friend.
Thanks, Aaron.
You bet.
All right, 314-912-1019. By the way, did you know Aaron is now a Missourian?
He is.
He just moved to God's country here.
Oh, no kidding.
Yep.
Hey,
Yep.
there you go. Welcome, sir.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
going to be good to have an ally like that actually in the States. So
Absolutely.
He does great work.
And offense is the right way to go on
We have
these.
to be.
Yeah,
we have to. That's the thing is that's why I talk about the talking points.
Mm-hmm.
What we have are constantly they do something unconstitutional and egregious. We go on defense and push them back.
Right.
And then they figure out another way to go on offense. So we've got to figure out a way to get out ahead and put them on their heels.
Absolutely.
And make them have to try to figure out how to defend our affirmation of our human rights.
Yes, absolutely.
And we've got to make sure people understand these are human rights, not a Second Amendment right. This Second Amendment is recognizing a human right.
Absolutely. We got to do this on 2A and every other A, by the way.
Absolutely. Okay, by the way, we're here in the holiday season. What are the holiday treats that people always buy but are actually terrible? There's a list.
That's a good question. Okay.
There's
All
a
right.
list.
All right.
Let's compare the list.
I want to see those.
To our palates here in the studio. And by the way, if you're watching, like I'm watching Rumble, if you guys are watching the other social media, Facebook and whatnot, tell us which holiday candies or treats are just gross and people should stop buying them.
Or if not gross, overrated.
There you go. Let's talk about that right around 7:51 because we can take a breather, and then we're going to talk about saving lives as the leftists are trying to make Missouri into a pro-abortion state, literally a pro-abortion state. So 8:05, we're going to talk about saving lives there as well.
The radio springs some forgotten song. Brand new coming on strong.
Like and subscribe to us on Rumble. News Talk STL. Get up, St. Louis. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
When I get lonely and I'm sure I've had enough, she sends a comfort coming in from above. But don't need no letter at all. We've got a thing that's called red eye love. We've got a light in the sky. Red eye love.
Hey, I'm here with one of our great friends, Rob Connor from Connor Roofing. You know, I talk about all the time who to trust, and trusting a company is everything to me. Why do people trust Connor Roofing?
Well, 30 years of being an honest roofing company that you can call and get an honest opinion on your project. We've got thousands of customers that are very happy that they did call us.
If there's a storm, the shingles fly off the house, first thing you should do is call 314-375-7475. That's how you get in touch with Connor Roofing or ConnorRoofing.com. That's ConnerRoofing.com. roofing.com.
Hi, it's Mark McCloskey, and I'm proud to represent my friend Mike Lindell and My Pillow here for the Christmas season. You know, my buddy Mike Lindell is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems. His My Towels solved a problem that we've all had with towels. You go into the stores, and they feel lotiony and soft. When you get them home, they won't dry you. That's why he made My Towels. They actually work. They're soft and they absorb. And now My Pillow is excited to announce 2 brand new lines of My Towels. What makes them the best towels ever is they're now made with 100% long staple Sherpa cotton. This is a comb ring spun cotton that makes My Towels even softer and more absorbent than ever. And now you get a 6-piece set for an amazing introductory sales price as low as $29.98. So go to mypillow.com, use promo code ONFIRE, or call 800-645-1392. You get Mike's designer premium line for just $20 more. Either way, you save 50% on all My Towels. They actually work. What a concept. Just go to mypillow.com and use promo code ONFIRE. This offer won't last, so please order now.
Getting a new floor for your home can be intimidating and a little scary, but that's not the case when you go to Michael's Flooring Outlet. Katie here, and my mom and dad used Michael's, and they had a great experience. They've been a locally owned and operated family business for more than 30 years. You want variety? Michael's has carpet, hardwood, laminate, ceramic tile, luxury vinyl, natural stone, and many other options. Shop in-store at one of their 3 locations in Creve Coeur, Dardine Prairie, or St. Peters. Check out everything that Michael's has to offer at igotfloored.com.
Investment advisory services offered through OWLFI LLC, a SEC registered investment advisor. Insurance and education services offered through Serenity Wealth Management.
Are you or someone you know providing or managing care for a loved one today? Did you know there could be more cost-efficient solutions for funding long-term care, even those currently living in a skilled care facility today? Financial strategist and long-term care specialist Chris Cooper of Serenity Wealth Management can show you tax-efficient strategies available to help your family manage care concerns, whether planning for the future or managing care for a loved one today. Solutions exist to provide the financial peace of mind you deserve.
Hi, I'm Chris Cooper, and I'd love to send you a free copy of my new book, A CPA's Guide to Tax-Free Strategies for Long-Term Care. You'll learn about strategies to empower you and your family, protect your savings, and make sure your loved ones get the quality of care they deserve.
Request your free copy of Chris's book by visiting SerenityLTC.com. That's serenityltc.com.
This hour of Mike Ferguson in the Morning brought to you by Window World. Simply the best for less. 314-993-1800 or visit windowworld.com.
Hey, this is Todd Showalter. Join me for the Right Mind Show on Saturday at 5 as I try to put some fun back into this wacky radio station. You know, and speaking of wacky, let's get back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Are there parts of the Christmas season that you just hate?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Like actual elements of it of
Yeah,
of the Christmas
there are
season?
elements that annoy me. Honestly, I'm kind of grinchy.
I guess
that's like,
at a societal level, yes. There are
it's
things that
become
annoy me.
kind of a joke around me, but
Yeah.
I am a little bit grinchy.
Yeah.
I just for a variety of reasons.
Yeah.
But let's talk about Holly Jolly candy and
Holly
treats.
Jolly
Are there some of those that just suck? We'll leave the cultural bigger stuff later.
I'm thinking about it.
Look, there's a list now. Let's compare notes.
Yeah.
here.
Let's see. Let's see.
All right, we have to get out ahead of what's going to be a very well-funded and dishonest campaign to make Missouri as pro-abortion as Illinois or California. So if you want to save lives and you want to make sure you get the information at 8:05. Real quick, we just had that conversation with Aaron Dorr from the American Firearms Association.
Yes.
Which, by the way, that conversation is going to be posted on our podcast in the next few hours.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one to share on social media and share with your friends and also people who disagree with this. We actually had some feedback from that on one of the social media accounts. Well, somebody who just totally disagrees with us. And by the way, whoever you are, hey, I'm glad that you're involved in the conversation, even when you disagree with us. So what did they have to say? Let's highlight that.
Absolutely. Listener Sigrid says these firearms, and I'm assuming he's talking about the assault weapons that would be covered under
that's what we were talking
the
about.
proposed ban, right? These firearms are solely instruments of war and have no place in private homes in a civil society. We cannot afford to wait any longer to significantly restrict private individuals' access to these military weapons.
Okay, so a couple things. The idea that these are military weapons is just factually incorrect.
Factually incorrect.
But I'm going to even say that doesn't matter to me. I would say you look historically at nations and governments that have actively taken a free people and disarmed them.
Yes.
And what has happened. And that's why when I look at this as a human right.
Yes.
The right to self-defense is a human right that I would be entitled to whether or not there was a Second Amendment or not. You can pass a bunch of gun control laws. I still have a right to self-defense. I may be locked up for using it in a free society that's not free, but the idea that civil society, we have no place in them, the uncivil people will always find ways to get the weapons. And the more important part of this is that any government that will not allow her people to defend themselves is a government that is ripe for tyranny. And I know that sounds way out there, but history tells us that's one of the first steps of a dictatorial or tyrannical government is you disarm people and you do not allow them to defend yourself against government. And when you don't allow them to do that, then you don't allow them to defend themselves against bad guys as well. So
I will give you Exhibit A.
Yeah.
Israel, October 7th.
Right.
Because Israeli people.
Israel is a strict gun control nation.
They were.
Yeah.
Until now they've loosened it up.
Yes.
But the strict gun control nation. And then you just go through history to do that. So to me, I actually don't get bogged down in the Second Amendment in the court cases and all that. Those are crucial, but we need to remind people this is a human right. And government does not have a moral or ethical or, in our country, constitutional right. And we're going to have to do the candy list thing later.
Yeah.
But they don't have a moral or ethical or constitutional right to say, well, you're not allowed to defend yourself or exercise this right of self-defense. You're not allowed to do it because other people don't like your choice of defense.
Right. Yeah. I mean, and to the idea that's like, oh, you can't have this because it's for war.
Yeah.
Let's say I agree with you that we're talking that the AR-15 is a warfare firearm because
any army that goes into battle with AR-15s is going to get slaughtered.
Yeah, they're going to get whooped.
Whatever.
But here's the thing. The Second Amendment was written with that in mind, that you as an individual, as the militia, may be called upon to defend the rights of yourself, your fellow countrymen, and everybody around, from whether that enemy is foreign or domestic.
So if you value what's in the Constitution, I would challenge you to read the entire thing and look at every single instance where the people or people is listed. It refers to individual liberty.
Is your retirement income at risk if you or your spouse needs nursing home or in-home care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money, Saturday mornings at 9 on News Talk STL 1019. The cost of long-term care is one of the biggest risks in retirement planning. For many retirees, a single nursing home stay can cause a significant reduction in assets that can permanently reduce your retirement income. Fortunately, there are affordable and flexible options available today that can help you manage the cost of long-term care. Our team can help you address the risks relevant to your retirement, including long-term care. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
What's for dinner? Burgers?
After last week, no thanks.
Avoiding foods due to fear of diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, or loose, oily stools? It may not be just stomach issues. It could be EPI, or exocrine pancreatic insufficiency. EPI can cause uncomfortable symptoms because it's a condition where the pancreas doesn't release enough digestive enzymes to break down food. But EPI can be managed. Use the symptom checker on identifyepi.com and talk to your doctor about your symptoms. That's identifyepi.com. Sponsored by AbbVie.
Hey St. Louis, brace yourself for the ultimate holiday deal with Consumer Cellular. Snag an incredible 50% off the Iris Flip when you buy before December 17th, making it only $34.50. The Iris Flip is all the phone and camera you need with a user-friendly design, the perfect flip phone companion. Plus, you'll get nationwide coverage and always free activation. Don't miss out. Head to one of our 4 retail locations in your area and seize this deal this holiday season.
KLGY HD3 Clayton, K270BW Bellefonte, KNBS Bowling Green. This is News Talk STL at 1019, 94.1, and always streaming at newstalkstl.com.
I'm Rich Thomason. House Speaker Mike Johnson tells his fellow Republicans that border policy will be their, quote, hill to die on in talks over President Biden's $110 billion supplemental spending request. While over in the Senate, behind-the-scenes tensions are boiling over.
The package crucially includes aid for Ukraine's war against Russia and Israel's war against Hamas. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell.
Continuing to pretend that upholding America's sovereignty is any less urgent than helping our allies and partners defend theirs is reckless.
Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had been scheduled to address senators via video Tuesday in a classified briefing, but Schumer says Zelensky had to cancel his appearance, and according to participants, the meeting erupted in frustration and yelling over including border security in the discussion. Ben Thomas, Washington.
It's 4 for the 4th, 4 candidates qualifying for tonight's 4th Republican presidential debate.
It'll be the smallest debate stage so far this year for the Republican Party. The RNC says Nikki Haley, Ron DeSantis, Vivek Ramaswamy, and Chris Christie have qualified for this evening's debate in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. The candidates will be squaring off just under 6 weeks before the Iowa caucuses. As he's done before, frontrunner Donald Trump is skipping the debate. He'll be holding a fundraiser in Florida instead. Greg Clugston, the White House.
Texas authorities say a day-long series of attacks in Austin has left 4 people dead, at least 3 others injured. A man thought to be connected to them, as well as to the deaths of 2 people near San Antonio, is under arrest, facing charges of capital murder. On Wall Street this morning, the Dow futures 70 points higher. NASDAQ futures up 90, S&P futures better by 17 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-355-4107 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-355-4107. That's 800-355-4107. What do you have to lose? Call 800-355-4107. Again, 800-355-4107.
At a public inquiry examining his government's
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt Chambers.
This hour of News Talk STL is brought to you by Stifel, serving investors for over 130 years. Contact your Stifel financial advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL.com.
What is a Wow Diamond? Wow Diamonds are named for their brilliance. Newstetter's Fine Jewelers carries Wow Diamonds. Our team at Newstetter's Fine Jewelers will show customers how the cut of the diamond impacts the brilliance of the diamond.
Newstetter's Fine Jewelers for Wow Diamonds are located at 2961 Doherty Ferry Road. That's at Big Bend and Doherty Ferry, and online at wowdiamonds.com.
Facts don't matter. Lies don't matter. You or I lie, we go to jail. She lies.
Mark McCloskey on fire.
You know, it's just part of the business. President lies, it's part of his business. Joe Biden couldn't tell the truth if he could remember it. And then you got Hunter Biden, you know, because he's a drug addict, because he's a gun criminal, because, you know, posts pictures of himself with hookers and crack pipes and all that kind of stuff. Now that makes him somehow wonderful.
Mark McCloskey on fire. Sundays at 5 on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson.
Are you pretending to be crazy?
Gabe Pfeiffer.
There's something serious I have to tell you about the future.
Get up, St. Louis.
Hey, will you guys knock it off?
Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
I've actually had a couple of people raise their eyebrows when I say there is an effort to make Missouri as pro-abortion as Illinois or California or New York.
Yeah, they do that. Come on, Mike.
They kind of do the tisk thing. Like, come on, no.
This is Missouri.
Yes, they want to allow some more abortion, but they're not trying to do what Gavin Newsom.
Bright red Missouri, Mike. How could you think that?
My answer is really? Okay. Well, let's talk about that, because this is another one of those areas where we have got to be out in front. Do not get in a position to play defense.
Yeah.
You know, there are arguments regarding the referendum process that we need to address, but the reality is right now is that the hard left with millions of dollars is about to make a huge push to overturn Missouri's pro-life status.
And we've seen them be successful in other states.
And they don't think for a minute it could not happen here. Okay. I'm Mike Ferguson. It is 8:06. I got Gabe Pfeiffer here. Got Stel Ponticus here. Earlier this week, I mentioned that I saw a graphic that somebody had shared on Twitter, and it was from Missouri Right to Life.
Right.
And it was basically 10 reasons why you should decline to sign. And what that was referring to was the forthcoming referendum petitions that you're about to be offered all over the state.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yeah.
You know,
people with clipboards are going to be out in front of your Walmarts
Right.
and your Trader Joe's and all these things demanding
Yep.
that you help protect women's health care.
Exactly. And what this is a proposed constitutional amendment, and that's crucial, constitutional amendment in the state that would allow abortion literally up until the final moments of the pregnancy.
Mhm.
Okay, we're joined now by Susan Klein from Missouri Right to Life, and Susan, I'm trying not to engage in hyperbole because I want to have an honest discussion about it, but I don't think anything I just said is hyperbolic.
Well, good morning, Mike, and good morning, Gabe and Stell. You're absolutely right, Mike. This is a dangerous situation that we're in. These initiative petitions that are out there that people will be offered to sign are extreme. They go against every conservative value that we have in Missouri. It's abortion on demand, all 9 months of pregnancy, even up into partial birth abortion. So we're just, really working hard to make sure that people know the truth. And it's amazing to me that people will sign something on the sidewalk that they don't know what it is, and they don't know the repercussions of it. So Missouri Right to Life is leading a coalition of pro-life groups and conservative people across the state to really educate people on how bad and extreme these initiative petitions are.
Morning, Susan. Gabe here, and I think I want you to emphasize how important the whole idea of declining to sign is because of the often dishonest way in which canvassers will try to solicit those signatures.
Yeah, you're right. They're going to come and tell people, well, we want to make sure that women's reproductive rights are protected in Missouri. When in reality, you hear the words reproductive rights or reproductive freedom, they're talking about abortion on demand all 9 months of pregnancy because there is no definition of health or reproductive rights. So we want to make sure that people are not signing these petitions. Now, these petitions have been through, some of them have been through the courts. They have bad ballot language. They don't tell the truth about what this language put in our Missouri Constitution would do to our pro-life laws. It would overturn them all. So, there's danger out there to, obviously, unborn babies, but also to women. This is, they always say safe and legal abortions. Well, this is going to remove these initiative petitions would remove all health protections that are in our statutes right now. So not signing these petitions, an initiative petition brought by the people, you have to have signatures in 6 of 8 of our congressional districts. This amount of signatures is based on the last the last gubernatorial race. And so, making sure that they don't get these signatures would put a stop to these initiative petitions going on the ballot for people to vote on. The language is deceptive. Secretary of State Ashcroft wrote great ballot language initially. The courts have overturned and rewritten them to be deceptive language. So what you're going to be hearing from these signature gatherers are not truthful about what would be put into our Missouri Constitution for abortion on demand all 9 months of pregnancy.
Okay, Susan, let me let's go right to one of the opponents' arguments that they're having. And I've seen this over and over and over. So there's a talking point that's going out amongst the left at some point. And what they're saying is, what you're talking about is not letting the people decide, Susan and Mike and Gabe and Stell and Jay and everybody else. And they're saying, what are you afraid of? Are you afraid of democracy? Are you afraid of the people deciding? Because I think that what we're talking about here is, obviously life and death, and I think we all agree on that. But one of the arguments that's going to be made to voters to try to get them to soften up, to go ahead and, okay, sure, we'll put it on the ballot. I may vote against it, but let's let the people decide. Answer that argument that they're saying you're afraid of letting the people decide on this. So that's going to come up. We're going to have to answer that. So let's get out ahead of that. What is the right answer when you tell somebody, and we're telling people, decline to sign, let's keep this thing off the ballot in the first place?
Well, it's kind of a double standard. I mean, if they're saying that, we're all afraid to let people decide, they were afraid to let people decide if they know the truth. When Secretary of State Ashcroft wrote the ballot language, it was the truth about what would happen in Missouri if any one of these initiative petitions were to pass. So they were afraid to let people know the truth from the very beginning by filing lawsuits and then the courts rewriting the ballot language with untruthful language. deceptive language. So what we're trying to do is make sure that people know the truth about what it is that they would be working to put in on the ballot, because it's not true. The general public is going to be deceived. Millions and millions of dollars are going to come into the state of Missouri by those that support abortion on demand. And there's going to be commercials out there. So there's a double standard whenever they say that we're afraid to let people have a voice. They were afraid from the very beginning to let people know the truth because they know Missourians are pro-life.
What lessons should we learn from our failures in other states, particularly in Ohio?
Well, I think, once again, they had bad ballot language. They had millions of dollars come in. I think a good strategy is absolutely imperative. We're not going to do what the other 7 states that have lost this have done. We're going to have a different strategy. We have, as I said, we have organized life leaders across the state, and not just people who are, pro-life groups, but conservatives across the board. We're working, the other side is working on voter registration. Well, so are we. We're making sure that every person that qualifies to be, to vote is registered to vote. We're making sure that people understand not to sign these petitions. Obviously, our Attorney General and our Secretary of State have worked very hard to make sure that the truth gets out there. So we have a different strategy that's going to be happening. We have coordinators in all 114 counties across the state that are watching for signature gatherers. We know there are some areas that we're not going to be able to have an effect on. I'm sad about that because this is even those that support abortion don't support this kind of extreme measures of abortion. So we want to make sure that people have the truth so that those that everybody knows not to sign these petitions. So we're organizing in all these 114 counties, to let people know that don't sign these petitions. We have signs out there that talk about protecting our Constitution, not making it, abortion on demand and enshrining abortion, the killing of an unborn baby in our Constitution. We have signs that talk about protect our pro-life laws. We're encouraging people to let Missouri Right to Life know if you see signature gatherers. We have people that are willing to go and stand beside them with signs and just let people know the truth.
Yes, excellent.
So, so go to our website at www.missourilife.org and look at the information that we have out there. But also call our office if you see these signature gatherers. We're working to be kind, compassionate, and loving to those that are thinking about signing these, but making sure that people know the truth about how extreme these petitions are.
Hey, good morning, Susan. Stell here. I'm going to call out a certain segment of our society here because I need to do it as a born-again believer. I'm calling out the Christian church because of their weak voting response. Individuals who claim to be believers in Christ and trust Jesus regarding eternal life. It seems as though they forget that God said he sets before us a choice of life and death, blessing and cursing. Choose life. And I trust that somehow Christians are going to wake up and get out and vote so that we can actually validate what we know is the truth and get out there and make sure that we vote correctly when this issue comes up.
Absolutely. And we are working with the leaders of all the mainline denominations in our state. You've seen in other states where they put forth people in collars or, pastors that say, that everybody deserves the right to have an abortion. Well, that's not the state of Missouri. Our pastors and leaders are getting ready, and they're already talking in the pulpits across Missouri, and we just encourage, and we're speaking to groups all across the state, faith groups, community groups, encouraging people to get involved and know the truth. And a lot of this has to come from our pastors in the pulpits. So you're absolutely right, Stell.
Okay, we're visiting with Susan Klein from Missouri Right to Life, and we just got a minute or so left, Susan. I got in touch with you because I saw that graphic that was posted on social media, and I thought that was incredibly effective. I think the decline to sign mantra is the one we should be pushing this year. Now, there may be, some conservative stuff that they say, we want to do a referendum. This just isn't the year to do it.
Yeah.
I think we need to not risk, we don't want to risk confusing people. I think decline to sign is a good message.
Very clear.
That graphic, is that available on the website, the reasons not to sign? Because that's something that should be posted by everybody on social media, should be sent. You should be emailing all your friends and family about this. Frankly, I think churches should be printing it and putting it in the bulletins and everything in between. So where are we going to access the resources to get out ahead of this, to try to sort of retard the effort to get this on the ballot in the first place, so we don't have to worry about millions of dollars in campaigns to defeat something as radical as this?
These documents are available on our website at MissouriLife.org, and there's a link at the top that takes you directly to it's kind of a history of this entire process and everything that we've been through. And as we go through this, we're going to, these documents are going to continue to be updated. So we encourage people to go to our website and get them, because you'll get the latest news about what's happening with the lawsuits, with the decline to sign, with where we are, as we move into August and November of next year. And what will be happening and what came out of the legislative process this year. So, yes, definitely go to our website, and we'll keep you updated.
All right.
And I'll be happy to come back on and give updates as well.
Oh, I'm taking you up on that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That you're going to get phone calls and emails. All right, Susan Klein from Missouri Right to Life. Hey, thank you so much for being on the program, because this is just literally a crucial life and death issue, and we've got to be out ahead of this to literally stop death from being enshrined in our state constitution. So,
Absolutely.
Susan, thank you so much for being on. I really appreciate your time.
Thanks, Susan.
Thank you so much.
All right, 314-912-1019. A little bit later on today, I still do want to get, I know we're running out of time, but I do want to get to which candies and treats are just awful.
Yeah, I'm very curious about this list.
As in a free market society, how in the world are they still being produced on the shelves out there? But just ahead, we've got some updates on crime in St. Louis, on the holds being made on military promotions over the government's abortion policy as well. And also the Blues back in action tonight. That's all ahead right here, right around 8:21 on 101.9 94.1 News Talk STL.
Stop right now. I have had enough of this. Turn my eyes to your indifference.
We give you news, analysis, opinion, and more. Only on News Talk STL. Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Get up, can't you hear the alarm? Get up.
You want to give a unique gift this holiday? I suggest Stolac Whiskey, produced in Missouri. Stolac Whiskey, born of natural limestone filtered water from the Ozark Highlands, aged in Missouri oak. Stolac, so smooth. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it. So next time, ask for Stolac. Visit the website, stolac.com. Stolac, Stowloch, from Stone Ledge Distillery.
To our brave police officers and first responders, we say thank you for risking your lives to protect us. To all the incredible volunteers who've joined hands with the David Dorn Foundation to raise funds for equipment and services, we extend our heartfelt gratitude. We stand strong with our volunteers who give their time, talent, and dedication as a shield of support for those who rush into danger. The David Dorn Foundation gives a big thank you from our heart to yours. Visit dornfoundation.com and join as a volunteer.
Columbo and Katie.
When it comes down to getting in the ballot box, Democratic voters vote for the Democrat.
Yeah.
Republican voters are typically more in tune with the policies of the candidates, not the party in general, of the candidates. And if they don't like a candidate, they won't vote for him. But you need to understand that the team that you're going against, they're going to vote for the letter no matter what.
Tony Columbo, Katie Fitzpatrick. Weekdays at 2 on News Talk STL.
Hey, I'd like you to get to know Dr. Daniel Cusimano and Dr. Megan Dwyer. Those are dentists and my dental team, along with their dental team at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles. You know, whether it's economic value with their dental savings plan and their real concern about giving you value, which is, of course, quality at a great price, or whether it's their personal values, their dental dedication to absolute precision. I can tell you when I go in and get my treatment there, or just a cleaning, whatever, it's always, I get this feeling it's like laser guided precision. Well, yeah, they have lasers, but they don't do that for everything, of course. It's the right tool for the right job. Whether it is dental implants, whether it's just general dentistry, cosmetic dentistry, and by the way, he can use some Botox in all the right ways for those applications as well. You'll find the greatest of care, the greatest value, delivered with people who have real values, the values we share at Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles. Get to know them by calling 636-978-0226, 636-978-0226, or advanceddentistrynow.com. That's Advanced Dentistry of St. Charles.
I think we should be able to have a civil conversation.
The news and talk that matters to St. Louis.
This conversation has completely made me crazy.
This is complete insanity.
News Talk STL.
Hey there, Tim Jones here. Make sure you join me and my buddy Chris Arch this afternoon from 4 until 6 p.m. right here on 101.9, 94.1 News Talk STL. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning.
All right, prosecutions are up, but crime's not really down in St. Louis City. We'll give you the update on that. Also, the holds on most of those military promotions over the Joe Biden abortion policy in the service, that is changing. I'll give you the update on that as well. Also, 8:35. Okay, and I'm going to be looking at the social media stuff or Rumble. You guys watch the others. You see a lot of treats, a lot of holiday treats.
Yeah.
There are some that I think are just awful, but for some reason they're still made in mass every year. What are the worst Christmas time, holiday time candies or treats? There's actually a list out there. Let's see whether the list is right or wrong. Compare it to our palates.
I mean, I've always got some for Halloween, but I can't really think of any off the top of my head for Christmas. So I'm curious.
A feeling when I read this list, you're going to go, oh yeah.
Okay, all right.
Now there's one on here though that I'm like, no, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do that around 8:35.
Okay.
All right.
Well,
okay.
I eat everything though. I'm kind of a trash panda version of a human, so I don't know. There may be don't on my
and
list.
And the sugar and calories don't count during
exactly.
the holidays,
they don't
right?
count. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
dedicated to Jesus.
All right, St. Louis City Circuit Attorney Gabe Gord, now been on the job for 6 months.
Yeah.
Which, man,
it feels like a long time.
Seems like he's been in there forever, but he's only been there for 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so between his staff and help from the Missouri Attorney General's office, prosecutors from other offices, from federal prosecutors, even some private law firms have offered attorneys to help out. He is making progress on getting caught up on the backlog of cases.
Okay.
Because we're talking hundreds of murder cases alone. We're talking thousands of outstanding warrants that need to be processed. So we're talking about this massive backlog that Kimberly Gardner left behind. And so he gave an update on his first 6 months in office, as he promised to do, and he did it. And what we're finding is that the numbers involved in the backlogs are going down significantly. The amount of prosecution of criminal charges is going up significantly.
Yes.
And when you compare the 6 months that he's been on the job to the 6 months last year of the same period, prosecution's gone up 45%.
It feels as though he's done more in the last 6 months than Kim Gardner did in like 2-3 years.
That's actually I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but that's probably true.
It's probably
it really
if not absolutely true, it's really close. I imagine.
And keep in mind that you look at that 6 months. That first month and a half was him trying to just sort the mess to find the priorities to deal with.
It's like basically the landlord taking possession of the house that was previously occupied by a hoarder.
Yeah.
You know, he was like, okay, I got to clean this thing up before I could actually get it functioning again. He had to basically re-up the entire staff of the whole thing. That whole staff had been decimated prior to him getting in there, and he had to hire a whole bunch of people, and he got borrowed out a whole bunch of lawyers and everything.
You know, I bet when he walked in the office, that probably was his first thought.
It's like, this looks like a hoarder lives here.
What have I gotten myself into?
Oh my God.
That probably was his first thought. But
after what's that smell? Sorry,
that smelly smell I smell.
Here's the interesting thing now, is because it sounds like Gabe Gore is now saying, okay, step one's done.
Yeah.
You know, we still obviously have to catch up, but the process is in place. The procedures, we have got it to where we are now gaining ground. So now he says he's meeting with the mayor, he's meeting with the board of aldermen, and he says, I need more funding to add more prosecuting attorneys and more resources.
Yeah, because
Okay.
my understanding is the help that he currently has is mostly temporary.
Yeah, it's temporary.
Yeah.
I mean, now my feeling is the attorney general's office is always going to say, we are going to loan people to you to help this.
They
So
might
I
cycle
don't
them
think-
through,
but
which may slow some things down, but still.
the feds aren't.
Yeah.
And the other prosecuting attorneys' offices, at some point, they're going to have to go, hey, guys, taxpayers are paying us to do this in our county. We need to pull our people back, and that's perfectly reasonable.
Oh, absolutely.
And so what's going to happen now is Gabe Gore's ability to keep that progress going is going to be dependent on the mayor and the board of aldermen giving him the resources he needs.
Yeah.
And that's a big question mark because Gabe Gore, from what I can tell, really is the only citywide official who is not pro-criminal.
Oh, man. You say that almost like it's hyperbole, but it's not.
No. Because remember, Tashara Jones, up till the last couple of weeks, was a staunch ally and supporter of Kimberly Gardner. And it was only until the inevitable was clear that she started saying, well, she needs to do some soul searching, et cetera, et cetera. And you've got a board of aldermen that continues to want to defund police and resources. So they're not going to want to defund police, but then ramp up prosecution of criminals. The whole point of defunding police is to not arrest as many people and not deal with violent criminals because you want to be touchy-feely with the bad guys. So whether or not he gets those resources remains to be seen. So at some point, we may see the progress stopped.
Yeah.
And you can blame Gabe Gore, and if he's at fault, we'll do that. But my guess is if that happens, we're going to have to look at what City Hall's doing, whether they're going to stay out of his way, whether they're going to team up with him and stand by his side, or whether they're going to get in his way. And that's what we're going to find out probably the next 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, the government's tendency to try to kneecap public safety is going to be in full focus.
Precisely. Okay, House Oversight Committee Chairman James Comer released subpoenaed bank records that he and the committee says show Hunter Biden's law firm making direct payments to Joe Biden. Now, Republicans, as a result of this and other evidence, are saying it's time for a formal impeachment inquiry of the president. Congressman Byron Donalds, obviously the Republican, very conservative Republican out of Florida, was on Mornings with Maria on Fox Business with his reaction.
We've now seen the bank accounts. We've seen the bank transfers. Not only was the family taking money, Joe Biden was taking money. And so the question for the American people now is, did Joe Biden take that money, and is he still compromised by foreign leaders?
Okay, so that last part of what Congressman Donalds just said is the crucial part.
Yes.
Now, this part of the records that the Oversight Committee is pointing out has to do with 3 payments that occurred in 2018. So it's before Joe Biden was president.
Right.
Okay. And it totaled several $1,000s, and it paid for a truck that Joe Biden gave Hunter while Hunter was in the throes of his drug addiction and, shall we call it, other issues as well. So it's not about the truck. It's not about the thousands of dollars. It's where did the money come from, and is Joe Biden compromised?
Right, exactly. And I saw a number of people, the apologists were out in force when this information dropped, and they were saying, well, who was in office in 2018? So it wasn't Joe. So why are we looking at this as though it's some sort of impeachable thing, because he wasn't serving in office anywhere, neither as vice president nor as president. But here's the thing. Money is fungible. You can hold on to it for a period of time because you want to avoid suspicion, and then you can disperse it when it's a little more convenient. So there are still open questions about that money.
And this isn't the only thing.
This is
the latest thing as well.
Yeah, it's only the latest.
Okay, Senator Tommy Tuberville out of Alabama, he kind of surprised people announcing that he is dropping most of the holds on military promotions he's had in place for months. He's holding on to his hold of some 4-star general nominations, okay? So this is over the Biden administration's policies, which frankly are blatantly illegal. Because it subsidizes the cost of getting an abortion for service members.
Yes, that's against the law.
Right, because if you live in, like, say, Missouri, that's pro-life, and you're not allowed to get an abortion here, a service member could calculate up her cost of going to Illinois to get an abortion, and then the federal government, your tax dollars, is subsidizing it. Well, there's a federal law that says that federal tax dollars aren't supposed to pay for abortion. They're trying to find their way around it.
Right.
So Tommy Tuberville was protesting that, saying, we're going to fix this or else I'm putting a hold on these things. Well, he's announced he's dropped almost all of those. Here's Brigadier General Patrick Ryder, who is the Pentagon press secretary, responding to that news.
We're encouraged by the news and we'll continue to stay engaged with Senator Tuberville and the Senate directly to urge that all the holds on all our general and flag officer nominations be lifted to include those nominated for 4-star.
Okay, so Senator Tuberville also asked about that decision, which actually surprised a lot of people.
Yeah, certainly
Here's what he had to say.
It was pretty much a draw. I mean, they didn't get what they wanted, we didn't get what we wanted, and just when you change the rules, it's hard to win.
Okay, so I'm going to disagree that it's a draw.
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
maybe still it's a draw because he's got some of the holds, but they did get what they wanted in that they got the promotions, and the people involved in their promotions being held up, many of them had nothing to do with this.
No.
At
Yeah,
all.
they were just kind of caught up in the middle
right.
of it.
So Tommy Tuberville basically has given up.
Yes.
On this, and
That's what it sounds like.
So I do think that he is making a solid point that he's put in front of and reminded everybody your tax dollars are subsidizing abortions right now. So he's made that point.
Yes.
But the reality is that the issue is going to fade away now because he has basically said, okay, I'm done, and he's ending the conflict.
But about 11 of the holds do remain.
Yes,
for 4-star
on
generals.
4-star generals. Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. So there is that, and somebody else could jump in and hold.
Sure.
Somebody else could get in there and do it if they want to pick up the ball and run with it. But I don't think it's a draw. I think it's the Biden administration's kind of getting a win.
They did get a little bit of a win there. I'm hoping he holds a lot more firm on the 4 stars.
Now, I actually really appreciate that he fought this for months.
Yeah.
Because he took a lot of flack.
Oh,
for this.
yeah. I mean, everybody's like, hey, you're punishing veterans because of the...
Or not veterans, but active duty.
Active duty. You're punishing our military because of XYZ. Well, you know what?
Yep. Real quick here. Blues in action tonight, hosting Vegas Golden Knights. Puck drops at 8 o'clock. Game is on ESPN+. Blues are 13-10-1 on the season, 5th place in the Central Division.
From the Michaels Flooring Outlet Weather Center.
Stubborn clouds to start the day, but we trend toward more sunshine as we get deeper into this Wednesday. I'll call it partly cloudy overall, near normal highs at about 49 this afternoon. Low to mid 40s for your evening plans, mostly clear tonight, upper 30s as we're out the door tomorrow morning. A solid warm-up Thursday afternoon. Tomorrow turns out to be breezy, but a warmer flow translates to a high of 64. Almost as warm Friday, too. That's your First Alert forecast. I'm meteorologist Matt
News
Chambers.
commentary.
The results are in, and Oxford's 2023 word of the year is. I'm Tommy Lahren. Find out next.
Tonight, the final GOP debate of the year is on News Nation, America's fastest-growing cable news network. SiriusXM's Megyn Kelly, News Nation's Elizabeth Vargas, and the Washington Free Beacon's Eliana Johnson moderate a live primetime event from the University of Alabama as the candidates make their case to America on the only network for all America. The News Nation Republican primary debate, live tonight, 8 Eastern. To find News Nation on your TV, go to joinnn.com.
The dawn of language, older generations have struggled to keep pace with all the new words and phrases invented by young people. That concept and struggle still applies in 2023. Not only has Gen Z birthed its own language, one of those words has made it all the way to Oxford's 2023 word of the year. And that word is Riz. What the heck is Riz? Well, according to young people, if you have to ask, you probably don't have it. The word Riz derives from the actual word charisma. So if you have Riz, you have the X factor, the personality, the pizzazz. The term is most often used on social media by the 25 and under crowd, and even my fellow elder millennials likely don't know what the heck it means. But Riz was selected by public vote and edged out other popular words such as Swiftie. But at least Oxford did not select an imaginary gender or a social justice warrior catchphrase, and for that, I am grateful. Riz it up, America. I'm Tommy Lahren, and you can watch my show Tommy Lahren is Fearless at Outkick.com.
Are you looking for an awesome space to have an incredible event this season, this holiday season, or just for any reason whatsoever? Your one-stop shop is View 17. That's VUE17.com, VUE17.com. Ultra-modern media conference and event center. You can have just about any event you can dream up there. It's on the 17th floor in the heart of the county of St. Louis. Check them out today. You will be impressed, and so will your guests. VUE17.com, View17.com.
I'm Dr. TJ, owner of the Institute of Natural Health, co-owner of Optimal Nutraceuticals, and the host of Wellness 101. Wellness 101 is designed to cut through the nonsense and provide you common sense, science-based information regarding health and wellness. On the show, we discuss topics like thyroid health, gut health, hormone optimization, and many others. Our show airs Saturdays at 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. and Sundays at 11 a.m. and 3 p.m. right here on News Talk STL. For more information, visit us at inhstl.com. That's inhstl.com.
I'm Missouri Lieutenant Governor Mike Kehoe.
As a small businessman and entrepreneur, I always encourage Missourians to shop local to support their friends and neighbors. This holiday season, visit buymissouri.net to find Missouri-made products, manufacturers, and retailers near you. When you buy Missouri, you help create jobs and keep our hard-earned dollars in the local economy. I encourage you to shop local every day, but especially during this holiday season. Visit buymissouri.net and follow @BuyMissouri on social media for more information.
Brought to you by the Missouri Lieutenant Governor's Office.
America Decides 2024.
Join us tonight at 7 for the 4th Republican presidential primary debate. News Talk STL is your home for all the important local and national news surrounding the 2024 election. Coverage begins tonight at 7 on News Talk STL.
This is Ron Clutho, and I've got some great stories for you. Join me on Saturday night at 10 p.m. for Stories of New Americans. Right now, let's get back to more of Mike Ferguson in the morning on News Talk STL.
Okay, at 8:50, The Hill had this story I found this morning.
Mhm.
Emerson College and City University of New York, they commissioned a survey.
Mm-hmm.
And to their shock,
Yeah.
there's a lot of Americans that don't want the COVID vaccine because they don't trust health officials.
Mm-hmm. That's
And,
the real reason.
That's the real reason. So 8:50, I've got the information on that. So there's two different questions. There's the question about whether or not you should get the vaccine, and then what they have missed up until now is the question as to why people aren't listening to them. It's obvious to us, but this new survey shows them that, man, how could people not like us? Okay, 8:50. We'll talk about that just ahead. All right, I found this this survey, and it was at a website called candystore.com, which I'm sure I just gave somebody free advertising if you want to buy candy.
Mhm.
But the list was the most hated holiday candy. So Christmas, I guess, Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's parties, all this sort of thing.
So this is the good, bad, and the ugly?
Yes. Well, they say this is the most hated and this is all the bad, but I don't agree with all of them.
Okay.
But I agree with a lot of them.
All right.
I mean, are
I'm
there
curious.
any candies that come to mind right away or snacks or treats that you're like, no, why does that still happen?
I can't think of a single one.
Okay. Well, let's go through the list here. Let's compare
Okay.
our palettes here.
All right.
And I just asked the question on Rumble, so somebody's got some thoughts on that.
Yeah, let me watch
as
Facebook
well here.
here.
Okay, so candystore.com put out the annual list of the most hated holiday candies. Number 1 is reindeer corn.
What?
It's candy corn for Halloween with different colors.
And little antlers?
Well, no antlers.
No
but
antlers? Okay.
It's red, green, and white
Okay.
instead of the brown, white, and orange.
I stand
All right.
corrected.
Yeah.
There are things I will not eat for Christmas
Yes.
candy. I didn't know that was a thing. Okay. So, because like I said, Halloween candy immediately came to mind.
Right.
Candy corn.
So
I
they
didn't realize
they
that
changed
was
the dye, they changed the food coloring,
Okay.
and then they create reindeer corn instead of candy corn. That's
Okay.
the number 1 most hated.
Okay.
Agree.
Okay, because to me, candy corn just kind of tastes like wax to me.
Yeah, I don't really
Mhm.
get it. I mean,
Yeah.
I can taste a little bit of sugar in there, but
Yeah.
other than that, it's just like, wow.
It's like when you were a kid. It's like, look, wax lips, and you bite into it, like, yeah, it tastes like wax.
Tastes like wax. The only cool thing is that if you arrange them properly, it does look like a stack of corn.
Yeah, that's true.
That's the only
true.
cool thing about
it. Which is what you should use it for.
Yeah, that's it.
Not for eating.
Decoration.
Okay, how about this? And I don't think I've ever had this. Number 2 on the most hated list, Christmas nougat.
Oh, I can't stand nougats.
Okay, so you're experienced in this. I don't think I've ever had it.
I don't think I've ever had. I'm not sure I've ever heard of it.
But that was a visceral reaction.
Christmas nougat. It was,
yeah.
Ooh, I got
Okay,
shivers.
What's? I mean, I know nougat exists in other candies like Snickers.
But this one, they make it all minty.
Oh, I see. I've seen these. Yeah, no, I've never.
Yeah, I've just never had it, so I can't say one way or the other.
I've seen them, but I've never had them. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm assuming they're not good.
So number 3 should be number 1 in my opinion of the most hated.
Really?
Cherry cordials.
Cherry.
These are freaking disgusting.
See, and I don't mind those. I don't hate them, but I can tolerate them.
It's like this viscous, slimy
with a cherry
texture, with the chocolate, with this slimy
With the cherry,
thing.
yeah.
And then
the candied cherry in the middle. Is that
Oh,
what's?
yeah.
You can tolerate? I think that's gross.
I can tolerate it. And I'll give you one that I really like that I bet most folks don't like because I don't see it flying off the shelves. And that's, I guess you would call it orange chocolate. Or chocolate orange.
Yes.
Those round things.
That's on the list.
Okay.
Really?
Yes.
The chocolate oranges?
Yes.
What's
See,
wrong with that?
See, I love chocolate orange stuff. But I can understand why most people probably don't like it.
I like chocolate. I like oranges, but for some reason,
not together.
So like with that candy,
Mhm.
and that is number 9, by the way.
Wow.
On the
Okay.
list. So it's like I could do one bite of
One
one
slice.
slice.
Okay. Oh, a bite of a slice. All
Yeah,
right.
and then I'm like, okay, I
you're done?
got it. I'm done. I'm done.
All right, you can give me the rest. I'm eating that thing.
Okay.
I'm with Gabe.
That's fine.
Okay, so they make it 9 most hated, but you're like, nope.
I'll
I'm
eat
all
it.
good.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
all good.
All right,
it
so
over.
so two are out, I guess. But the rest
Right.
I'm fine with.
Okay, now this one right here are non-peppermint flavored candy canes. So candy canes that just have other flavors. You know, you
come
can-
on, you got Jolly Rancher candy canes.
Right.
What's wrong with you?
I'm like, yeah, I don't understand this. I'm fine with this.
Now, what are the other flavors? Like maybe that's the key. Is like
Well-
they had a non-peppermint candy cane, but it was I don't know like root beer or something.
Well,
and it
well,
didn't,
there
it
are
didn't-
those.
It
I've
didn't
seen
quite
those.
well, but you can get root beer flavor wrong for
Yes,
candy.
yes.
You can.
But I've seen those. But like you can also get candy canes that are more either just like mint. Like there's
Yeah.
a chocolate mint one that's pretty tasty, and
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
can probably get all the berry flavors.
Oh, yeah.
and on that. But they just said if it's not like a traditional candy cane, people don't like it. I'm like, no, I think there's some good ones out there. I
plenty
think,
of good
I
ones.
think I don't get that one.
I've
I
not.
understand.
I've never had a bad candy cane.
I remember one year when I was particularly poor. Me and the kids, because believe me, I went through several years of just absolute. If you looked at my income, it would, especially single dad. One year we did a Christmas tree. I literally couldn't afford to go buy new ornaments, but I could go to the dollar store and get the bunch of the boxes of candy canes, and so we literally hung candy canes as tree decoration.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I could get like 50 for $1.
Oh, absolutely.
And that's how we decorated the tree one year.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Well, they're supposed to be, but not by
But
themselves.
I'm like,
yeah,
I see non-peppermint candy canes. I'm like, come on, haters.
Yeah.
That's a little harsh.
like most of the sugary candies out there have a candy cane variant of them, don't they?
Those were like your own version of icicles.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
When
exactly.
you do it right,
I tried
you
that
can do
too, but when I put them on the tree, they melted.
Actual icicles.
Okay, now this next one, if you disagree with this, you're just wrong.
Uh-oh.
All right, so I'm throwing down the gauntlet.
All right.
Holiday peeps.
Oh,
I agree.
I don't hate them.
I despise them.
Tell me why you're wrong.
Well, they're just marshmallows with sugar on them.
I know they're marshmallows from 1968 that have been in a warehouse.
Or at least they taste like it.
Well, which ones are you buying?
No,
I buy the fresh ones, man.
I mean, they're shaped, they're snowmen or Christmas trees.
Yeah, yeah.
At Easter time, I still wonder why the free market is demanding peeps.
Peeps. Why
I'm like,
peeps are a thing?
Who is going out and actively saying this is on my priority list of buying for candy?
I will say this. I do not actively seek
Right.
out peeps. They're not my favorite. If you hand me a peep, I was like, okay, I'll eat this.
I will.
That's pretty much it.
If you hand me a peep, I'm going to throw it at you.
See, I can't stand them, and my fear is that they are peeps from last year.
Yes.
Oh yeah. Well,
And it would be like, here's another one, and it's not something appropriate for your list. Butterfingers. Butterfingers, when they're old, are awful. Fresh Butterfinger bars
Okay.
are great. But, boy, if you let them sit around like a peep, no.
They
thank
become
you.
rocks.
Exactly.
well, maybe that's my problem. I don't let food sit ever. That's why I work out.
By
so
the
much.
way, Righty on Rumble, he says, I wonder what kind of Christmas candy the dispensaries are offering.
oh,
Conversation for a different day, Righty, but let me know when you find out.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's the one that I disagree. Ribbon candy.
Oh, ribbon candy's great.
I like ribbon candy. How is that the sixth most hated candy?
It's nostalgic as all get out.
Yeah,
too,
I mean,
to
I
me.
know it from my grandma's house back in the day.
Mhm.
Is that
but-
like the old-fashioned?
Right, with it's in the swirly.
Comes in a tin.
Yeah,
It's very colorful.
Yeah, very colorful, and I would just break it up and
Oh,
just
heck
like
yeah.
have a candy flavor, just like all day long.
For a while there, I couldn't find ribbon candy. Like I didn't even realize that it was still a thing.
Yeah.
And then I came across some, and I bought like three
Yeah.
tins or something. I was like, ribbon candy.
I'm like, this is pretty good. I don't understand that.
Ribbon candy's tasty.
Now, how about this? You remember the old fashioned hard candy mix that they talk about grandma's house?
Oh yeah, the hard
Yo,
candy then in the
in the tin, in the
glass jar. Yeah.
Yep,
Mhm.
yep. And it was at your grandma's house in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah, it sat in the middle of the coffee table. You were not allowed to get candy from it. You could ask somebody to get because you can't touch the crystal thing that it's in.
Yeah, and so that's number 7.
That was
But
my girl's
Here's the
house
thing: is
anyway.
like the candy doesn't like it didn't taste bad, but you would break off your teeth.
Yeah, do not crunch that candy. That was a suck candy.
Yeah.
Not a chew candy.
Okay, now this one I've never had, but I don't quite get why it'd be most hated. Lifesavers storybooks. So it's Lifesavers, but they put it
in a little book. Yeah.
Why would you hate that if you don't mind other Lifesavers?
Lifesavers are awesome.
I don't understand why that one's on there.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I guess they just find the book obnoxious.
Yeah. Okay, and then you mentioned chocolate oranges as number 9.
Yeah.
And we have mixed results on that.
I will eat a chocolate orange all day.
I'll break one off in half, and then you can have the rest.
Okay, that's fine.
We'll do that.
That's fine.
Okay, number 10.
I might have some in my office, by the way.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Okay,
Just
so
saying.
number 10 most hated, and this one again I disagree with.
Yeah.
Peppermint bark.
Peppermint bark's great.
That's good.
That's absolutely great.
I like
Ooh,
peppermint.
Kathy
bark.
loves peppermint
Yeah.
bark. She may be having some right now.
Yeah. See, the thing is, there are other polls and surveys that show that's the favorite, the most favorite, but this made this list of most hated.
That's really weird. Do they hate peanut brittle too? They just don't like the crunchy things.
Maybe I don't like peanut brittle, but then again, I'm not a big peanut butter guy.
Oh, I'm a huge peanut butter
Yeah,
guy. So
I don't. I mean, but that's just because I'm not a peanut butter guy.
Yeah.
But peppermint bark, I actually think is really good.
Yeah. So out of that list, what's funny is, as much as I dislike the corn stuff,
Yeah.
if it's the only candy, I might eat it.
Yeah, I won't. Cherry cordials.
So yeah. So you're definitely
that's
not.
the only thing that's allowed.
Oh yeah, my
offered.
wife just shuddered.
I'm leaving
from the cordials.
I'm
yeah,
leaving.
She hates them.
I'm like leaving your house.
Yeah.
If you do that.
You had this here.
I'm like, no, I don't. Like, I don't even know you.
How dare you?
Oh.
See, and as you're leaving the house, I'm thinking, okay, more for me.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, just ahead here. Health officials just don't understand why people don't want to get the COVID vaccine.
Come on, guys.
Why? We don't understand. Let's do a survey. Oh.
Okay. That's why.
That's why.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about that just ahead here. Right around 8:51 on 1019 94.1 News Talk STL.
Follow us on Rumble at News Talk STL. Get up. It's Mike Ferguson in the morning.
Hi, I'm Kimberly with John David Jewelers. We specialize in creating full custom jewelry, from carving waxes, setting stones, and full jewelry repair. If you can dream it, we can make it. All work is done on site, and everything we produce is American made. Plus, we are collecting toys for Tots. Find us in Frontenac or online at johndjewelers.com. We are in the business of making you look good.
Great news for my sponsor, Napoli Sea. And it's no surprise to me, nor hundreds who have dined there. The first time I entered, it was clear Napoli Sea is unique. The decor, the fish, imaginative cocktails, and of course, Napoli Sea is right next door to Napoli 3 in St. Charles. Napoli 2 is in Town and Country. The original Cafe Napoli is in Clayton, and I'm honored to endorse each of them. Visit any of the Cafe Napolis.
Hi, Sean Long with STL Fenceworks. Our company realized another extraordinary year of great business. I thank God for engineering our success and for this great nation and all the blessings it offers those who persevere and work hard. Second, I want to personally thank the great customers who put their faith in our company to make their home and backyard dreams a vision fulfilled. STL Fenceworks doesn't exist without you, and I'm humbled and grateful for your patronage. I also want to thank all my great employees. You're the backbone of STL Fenceworks. You make my vision a reality. I'm truly honored to work amongst such fine people. Finally, as the year ends, I want to remind everyone to take time to enjoy the season. Embrace your family and friends, count the blessings in your life. Reflect on the important things, and don't forget the true meaning of Christmas. When a baby was born, Jesus, our Savior. On behalf of everyone at STL Fenceworks, have a very Merry Christmas and a blessed and prosperous New Year.
News Talk STL is proud to have Doug Voss of Safe Money Radio as part of our lineup each week. Doug has been a staple on St. Louis radio for many years as one of the leading financial experts in the area. Doug and Safe Money Radio is on 3 times every weekend, but in case you miss anything, you can check it all out at DougVossSafeMoneyRadio.com or call 844-676-SAFE. That's 844-676-7233. Doug Voss is a registered representative. Securities offered through DHL Securities, LLLP. Member FINRA and SIPC.
We're talking with our great friends, Rob and Kathy Connor from Connor Roofing. What about these storms that hit us all the time? What's going on with that in the roofs?
We haven't seen a storm season like this in years. Trees are falling on people's houses. We've never seen this much. It's just crazy.
I'm not getting on the ladder. I'm afraid of heights. That's why I trust you guys.
And Vic, if you see roofing companies at your neighbors' houses, give us a call, because if they have storm damage, it's possible that you do as well at 314-375-7475.
Or ConnorRoofing.com. That's CONNER Roofing.com.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps in the afternoon.
There's hope for the young generations. We'll speak to the lady leader of the SLU Young Republicans at 4:25, previewing the 4th GOP debate with Karen Fessler at 5:25.
Tim Jones and Chris Arps. Weekdays at 4 on News Talk STL.
Dan Bongino here. Keep it on News Talk STL because my show starts at 11 a.m. Right now, it's back to Mike Ferguson in the morning.
One of the things I want to thank everybody who is watching us on video. Obviously, if you're listening to us on the News Talk STL app or the streaming audio, obviously over 101.9 and 94.1, really appreciate that. That's where the phone number 314-912-1019 comes into play and gives you a chance to be involved. A lot of interesting debates and arguments happening in the comments of our video streams. And Facebook is one, so even after the show ends, you can go look at the comments because we got somebody who's obviously on the left who's taking issue with our positions, and so check it out. I love that, by the way. I love that there's somebody who's in complete disagreement with us, who wants to argue, and make his point and make his opinions known on the social media feed. That's fantastic.
Yeah,
that's great.
Those sort of challenges are actually important to the whole dialogue.
Debate and have the conversation there. You see that because I'm watching Rumble. So
I'm watching on Facebook.
So so to whoever you are, hey man, I appreciate it. I disagree with you. But I appreciate it. And I mean, I don't know what other outlets are going to do, but you're welcome to argue and debate and tell people you think we're wrong around here. That's fine with me.
By the way, speaking of disagreements here, I'm just going to jump in real quick because we're playing Hall & Oates.
Oh, yeah.
And for folks who haven't heard,
they're suing each other.
Daryl Hall filed a restraining order against John Oates.
Really?
They have some sort of rough relationship. It's been going on for years.
I think what's happening is when Oates is going out and touring solo, Hall wants royalties from when the songs that he wrote are being played.
Which are most of the Hall & Oates songs.
Right.
Were written by him.
And so it's a money dispute after, 40 years?
Man.
45 years?
Wow.
I mean, when I heard that Hall and Oates are feuding, that kind of hurt.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, isn't this just like...
Say it isn't so.
I
can't go for that.
I know. No can do.
No. Oh my gosh.
I know. Yeah, but it's like drama, and it's like, come on, guys, you're Hall & Oates,
right?
Yeah.
It's like literally, they go together like peanut butter and jelly, right?
Yes.
It's like Hall & Oates.
And I will say, I saw Hall & Oates with Chicago quite a few years ago at Riverport.
Yeah.
And I love Chicago, my favorite band. Hall & Oates were better that night.
I believe it.
Than Chicago.
I believe
really?
it.
Wow.
Yeah, totally believe it.
Wow.
Yeah, hopefully they figure that out. I mean, it's like, hey, they're feuding. That's a cool, funny drama story. But I'm like, no, you're part of America. Don't.
Yeah. And by the way, I'm on which one's side? Oates? No, Hall. I'm on
Oates
Hall.
is a little guy.
Hall is the singer. Oates is the guitar player.
Right.
So Daryl's the tall blonde guy.
Daryl Hall,
the songwriter. He should get some royalties from the uses of his songs. He should.
So that's as I understand it, that's what the argument's over.
Yeah. And he focused on Kiss on My List. He said everybody thinks that we wrote it together. No, I wrote it. And all the vocals and everything, that whole song is pretty much me. Well, okay.
I mean, are the dollars worth destroying a business relationship and over how many years?
Now making it a huge deal, I think that's going too far.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just saying. All right, real quick here. We got a couple minutes left here. There was a survey done by Emerson College, and it was commissioned by some folks at City University of New York.
Yeah.
And they wanted to know about people's attitudes towards the updated 2023/2024 COVID vax.
Yeah.
and about half the people in this country, and in some parts of the country, upwards of 2/3 and even 3/4, people say absolutely not. I'm not getting that particular shot.
Yeah, well, I think we're in that 3/4 range here in the
Right.
Midwest.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to get it. But, the thing is that there are two different questions, and what they failed to understand as the so-called experts is I don't think this is as much about the actual vaccine.
The vaccine itself.
Now, there are people who are like all about the vaccine. They've got their worries, their concerns. Even some would argue conspiracy theory. Okay, listen. I'm a guy on the radio. Don't they make a medical decision based on what I say?
Right.
But so there are people that are looking at it just from the point of the vaccine. But what they're finding with this survey, which we've been telling them for years, is that people don't trust this establishment anymore.
Right.
And they don't trust it because they were wrong and they lied to us. One guy who actually was involved in commissioning it from City University of New York actually is quoted in the article at The Hill by saying, well, I guess we can't rely on mandates. We have to have real conversations with people.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because you lied to get the mandates.
Yeah.
And we now know that this didn't prevent anybody from getting COVID or anything like that. And there are questions about the makeup of the vaccines and all of that. But you're being forced to engage people. Even the CDC is like, well, uptake isn't what we hope it would be because you lied.
Yeah.
So they want to make it about the vaccine itself, but it's about trust, and the health establishment, the government health establishment, and frankly, the pharmaceutical establishment went out of their way to lie or be wrong, and now they wonder why nobody trusts them.
When you tell us things that aren't true, guess what? We think the next thing you say isn't true.
Right. Because you're a liar.
It's been a very busy year for Wellington Environmental. Tom and his staff had traveled all over making sure that minor issues don't become major disasters. Then there are the times Wellington is called in for emergencies, but nothing Wellington hasn't seen before. They have certified inspectors, chemists, scientists, environmental planners, and that's just some of their expertise. That is why the St. Louis Business Journal gave Wellington such a high ranking. So what will 2024 bring? No one knows, but if you take time to visit the Wellington Environmental Facebook, you're going to see things that might explain health issues at your home or business, affecting you, your family, clients. Wellington Environmental Facebook. Tom Wellington and the entire staff wish you a blessed 2024. Your world, cleaner, better, safer. So, as always, be well with Wellington.
Tim Jones here with Dr. Kim Patton from Comprehensive Integrative Healthcare. Kim, you focus on the treating of neuropathy. What are the signs of neuropathy?
The most common symptoms are numbness, burning, cramping, usually in the hands and feet.
Tell me about the success you're having with your restored neuropathy